Alright, and here we go. So, welcome to tonight's stream. I know it's been about a week or so since you've seen the last stream. I am Drako0411. We're going to be doing a little bit of FSX flying the world today. Today I'm going to be in the Boeing B-377 Stratocruiser. Flying with me is going to be Mr.MoonDog 88 and ZigZagy as soon as he gets his slight technical difficulties straightened out. We're going to be flying today from HLLB, which is an airport in Benghazi, Libya, going to HECA, which is Cairo International in Egypt. Should be about a 2-hour and 21-minute flight. So not too long, not too bad of a flight. And so we're going to go ahead and get started. We're going to pop over to Discord here and see if MoonDog and Zig are ready yet. As always, make sure you check out their channels, and if you like what you see from us, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. Also, check out everybody else who is linked in my channel for the Monkey Show.
Comments, be sure to let me know, and I don't want you guys watching a bad stream. I don't want you watching a bad video, and if you let me know, I'll see what I can do to correct it. There are things in the work to finish getting me the rest of the upgrade on my computer, and you know, I want to put out what I would want to watch, so that's what we're after here.
Okay, and we just came in on the end of MoonDog's...
It was ranting and raving? No.
MoonDog's entrance, so... How you doing today, yeah. Mr. MoonDog?
Today is not too bad. We're actually in a decent enough mood that this should be an easy flight, which means we're going to all three of us are going to crash at least twice, maybe into each other, who knows.
I totally expect MoonDog to become a smoldering hole at the end of the runway. And then
Which runway?
Whichever one they give you.
Oh, okay.
And
to take off?
Or land. Depends on how things go.
Okay.
And okay. I totally will probably land right on top of you.
Probably. Okay, we could shoot for that. I was mentioning that we're waiting for Zig. He's having technical difficulties. He should be popping back in between us as soon as he gets a computer restart and technical issues fixed. Told him it should be about a 2-hour flight, and the reason we went with these is so that it would be a 2-hour flight instead of a 4-hour flight, because there's really nothing between Benghazi and Cairo that warrants a large enough airport.
Except for, well, sand. There's a lot of sand in between those two countries.
And there's probably a couple sort of brush airports, and to be honest, I don't want to land at any more brush airports.
Well, we all know how you feel about deserts and cactuses. And if you don't, check out any one of MoonDog's 7 Days to Die videos where he gets killed repeatedly by cactuses. Or cacti.
Cacti, yeah, let's put it correctly. And yes, 7 Days to Die and cactus, #1 killer for MoonDogs.
#2 killer? Dogs. #3 killer? MoonDog can't jump.
I would have gone the other way with that. I can't jump and I end up dying, landing on whatever, and then the dogs are after that.
It's kind of a close...
Zombies are actually... Zombies, which are supposed to kill you, is down the list a little bit, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. You falling on spikes and you getting killed by dogs, it's kind of a neck and neck there. I mean, so...
No, the dogs, I've handled the dogs a little bit better. I think it's just the falling. Trust me, I'm the one dying. I know where I'm dying at.
Although there are 3 or 4 times that you went running through the wastelands and stepped on landmines and blew yourself up, which is very entertaining to hear.
What do you mean by entertaining to hear? As in I'm ranting and raving and going and stuff like that, or?
Yes.
Okay. Well, then in that case, I get that. I'm just checking payload here, fuel payload, so that it's correct on the dash when we get, or on the dashboard when we get in there, because if there's a dash anywhere, it should be in Zig's parked next to me. I'm going to go inside here.
And as always, as soon as Zig gets in, it will never fail. There will be a -8 following me. Because
Yes, there will be.
even when Zig is not flying his Dash 8, there still seems to be a Dash 8 either at the airport that I'm at or flying with me.
It's a conspiracy.
There he is.
There he is. He's at least joined us. It will now depend if he can hear or if we see him or not here in a moment.
Well, if he can get his easy dock to play nice.
You know, I was just thinking it was weird when I was launching Flight Sim. It pops up a little window that says it's trying to load Easy Dock or whatever. Do you want to allow it? And of course, I always say yes. But after I click that, and the resolution's still jacked up.
Well, that's an easy thing to change just in your settings, correct?
Probably. My antivirus popped up and said it quarantined the program.
Wonder if it tried to quarantine your easy dock.
That's what I'm wondering.
So while we're waiting on Zig to finish up his stuff, we'll take a look here. For those of you who have never seen this plane before, this is the Boeing 377. It was one of the very first pressurized commercial airliners in the United States. It was built in 1948. When one of the first planes of this model were built, and it flew till I believe the late 50s or early 60s. It was actually a lot of the instruments and a lot of the technology was taken from the B-29 Superfortress. What's cool about this is that even though it's a large plane, it has a lot of windows. It has 19 windows just on the front. So it gives you a lot of ability to see. And I think I hear Moondog starting up his plane.
Yeah, because the batteries are already down underneath 20 volts, which means if I don't get them started, I'm going to have to do a restart on the flight sim so that it'll...
You don't have an APU?
Not on this one.
I do. So we're going to go ahead and turn that on. Turn our master switch on.
If I go into settings, it says it's at 1920. 1080.
I wonder if it's an easy dock issue. Pull that back.
What do you know? I just did a start without any gauges up because I knew the correct procedure there. Now I can start beacons, taxi light.
Beacon. Taxis.
Make sure the door's shut. That's on. Start up the other
It has
engine.
taken Moondog a while, but he has learned that you should shut your doors before you take off.
Go away.
We're going to go ahead
Right there.
open these up real quick. Hey Evan, how's it going? Welcome back to the stream.
Hey, Evan.
Yeah, Evan. 50 subs with YouTube and Twitch. I need 50 on both.
Yeah, 19 windows is a lot for a plane like this, but it gives you great visibility. Turn our engine selector to 3. We're at prime. Start. Oh, that sounds good. Switch over to magnetos to both. Actually, you know what? Should have that on. Booster 2 on.
50, 50, 50. Okay, we're good there. We got that. We got lights. We don't need that's cautionary. Turn that lights on. Check warning lights.
Start.
We're all good there.
Boost. There we go.
Oh, that's, we need these. Come on. And that one. Turn them lights on. Yes, we bumped that.
Two.
We're set there.
Prime. Start. Okay, before we get too far ahead of ourselves, we're going to turn our air conditioning on. And we're going to start.
Oh, that's because we have the sync on.
Our generators on. Turn the APU
You're all
off.
good. Full fuel there, and we're correct there. Okay, I'm all set.
Engine 1.
I don't see Zig yet. How you doing, Zig?
Still
Start.
loading.
Still loading? Okay.
Flip to both.
It's
it
dawn,
is-
so I don't think we need lights, but we'll turn on dash lights.
He is, Evan, but it's 50 subs in YouTube and 50 subs in Twitch.
Yeah, I had mentioned that. I had answered that. He
It
didn't
just
hear
popped.
me.
Yeah, it just popped up in my
Yeah.
chat.
Yeah, because he asked on mine. Thank you for answering it. I had started to say it. Probably didn't hear me when you were talking. Didn't want to state that with you. Yes, 50 subs on Twitch and YouTube. That's what I stated in my one video. I'm going to hold to that, but it is definitely going to be 50 in both. Should be able to find me in both. I am Mr.MoonDog88 on YouTube and Twitch.
Alright, that all looks good.
I tend to do Twitch on the weekends, which are the trucking and the farm sim, and then during the week and Saturday night for the flights, and my week stuff is at that point. I am going to probably get Restream set up, and I'll probably have it go off of YouTube and then stream onto Twitch and YouTube. Take the lead from BP.
The other thing that we have been toying around with.
No, don't tell him yet. Wait for us to get in the air. It'll be more exciting.
What? We've been toying around with the idea of possibly doing a multiplayer farm sim, where one of us is actually hosting a multiplayer map. We've been thinking about possibly streaming that, but we want to know from you guys: is it something you guys would want to see? Is it something you guys would want to see streamed, or are you guys more interested in
just the flights?
Just the flights, because like I said, we play a lot of other games too. We also do multiplayer ATS and ETS, 7 Days to Die, PUBG, Arma,
and we will be doing those regardless. But
But if you guys would like to see them, we'll be more than happy to stream them.
Right. So we're good there. We will do this for a second, because we're going to move this over here.
You guys can go ahead. It's not working, so don't wait.
It's not working, he says.
It sounds like your antivirus decided to beat up on EasyDoc.
Yeah.
Alright, I don't need that this loud. I don't want reverb going through there. You sure, Zig?
Yep. Because I don't have any idea where to start with my issue.
Hey, it might be something like you have to uninstall it and reinstall EasyDoc.
Oh, don't tell him that, because he's got... Well, no, you've got profile settings that should keep your profile separate and just delete the program, I think. Alright, so... Would they say they wanted me to go to... 15 right? 15 right?
1570. Check my flaps.
Oh, sometimes computers can be such a pain.
That they can. Flaps back up.
Evan, I have 47 on YouTube and off the top of my head, 20,
What's my heading for that?
25 or
22.
26 on Twitch at the moment. 15. So
Sure.
that. They said 16 F and then A. 15 and A.
Which way are you departing?
I said east.
Okay.
Sending that round. World Travel 3-1 Heavy, ready to taxi. East departure. World Travel 3-1 Heavy, taxi 2 and hold short of runway 33 left, using taxiway Foxtrot Delta.
Alright,
Contact tower on
taxiway F and then taxiway D.
D, it has me on, it said A for me, but that doesn't make sense.
Yeah,
Because A has me, I've looked it up, A is down at the,
yeah, east departure, runway 33 left, using taxiway F and then
Okay.
D.
you're doing 33, they have me on 15.
Okay.
Big difference, okay.
Taxiing hold short runway
Although,
33 left, using
that makes no
taxiway
sense. If you're on
Foxtrot
33,
Delta. World Travel 3-1 Heavy.
I'm taking off on 33 left.
okay. And they have me on 15 right. Same runway, opposite directions. I think they're trying to set us up.
Did you accidentally click that you're going west instead of east? Because that would explain why they have you going one way and I'm going the other.
Yeah, but I've done that on, like in air hauler or when I'm just doing air hauler runs, and it'll still send you in the direction of the wind. It doesn't matter.
Alright, so we're doing a pushback here.
Yeah, I'm gonna bump my props down because 50% props is a whole lot easier to control this thing. Oh no, I'll actually give me a minute here and get started. I might actually just pull that up on the other screen and find out what I have there.
Holy crap, I almost ran over a Piper Cherokee.
We'll follow Draco there once he gets that thing spun around. Let's see here. I have 28 followers subs, whichever, on Twitch. So 22 more there and 3 more, and we will definitely do the giveaway of something. And I will just do a random drawing of those subs that I have that we'll put in once I have it. I haven't gotten everything in place on how I want to do it, but probably have everyone make a comment that are interested in it, and then pull a name from those that have done that. And if the name will be drawn, what's jumping to my head. See, I don't have a corn chip like Frito to just randomly pick a name.
Well, if you had Nightbot, you can just use Nightbot.
I could. Ask me if I want to go through the whole add a bot thing yet.
Holy crap.
Do you want to go through the whole add a bot thing yet?
I'm not sure if I want to go through the whole add a bot thing. Yeah.
I cannot believe how tight of a turn they wanted me to make on this taxiway. Thinking this runway is long enough for me to take off on, because remember we landed here with C-47s.
It's long enough. I've been flying, well, very similar to that plane around. You can handle it, Draco. I have faith in you.
Those are famous last words.
Alright, I have faith that you'll do something interesting with that.
Flip upside down and land on top of you? While you're taking off?
It says 51. 51 current subs on YouTube? I have to double check that. I'd be happy with that part. I know it's only 28 on Twitch.
Okay, so the antivirus did block it.
You want us to wait for you?
No, because I don't know how to unquarantine. Apparently the antivirus has updated, and so has the whole interface.
You know what? That's why I do it the old-fashioned way. Just don't go any websites and just don't use antivirus. That's not true. I use the Windows.
I use Windows Defender and Firewall.
Yeah. And as long as you don't go to those questionable sites, so as long as you don't let your 17-year-old son go to the porn sites, you'll be fine.
While you download farm sim mods from all kinds of crazy places.
That's why I wait for everyone to download them and test them out on the farm sim, and then they go, well, we're just going to put them on the server and you get them from there, and that's where I get them from.
Clear for takeoff, runway 33.
Or straight from the FS hub, farm sim hub.
I don't trust just using the Windows, because that, I feel like that can be broken. Same reason I don't use Internet Explorer.
I don't use Internet Explorer. I use Chrome, and then I use just that, and I just watch. Knock on wood, I haven't had any issues, and the couple times that I have, there were minor things that once I actually took it back over to my computer guy, he just said, don't do that again. Okay, and I haven't done those once again.
The reason I don't trust the Windows is because that's built into everybody's computer. So if somebody finds a backdoor in that, and that's what you're using, or a workaround, then everybody has that, and everybody's vulnerable, which is, you know, for a long time that was the problem with Internet Explorer, is that people were finding
the backdoor entry. Okay, well, that's fine. Are you on 33?
I'm already taking off.
You've taken off.
Yeah, I'm going down the runway right now. Oh, well, thank you, Gmail, for telling me that my Gmail account is out of sync on this computer, considering I never use it on this computer.
See, we were supposed to take off in the same one. I'm sitting down here at the end waiting for you to clear.
I'm already in the air.
I see you. It says, mine's yelling at me about the traffic, which is you.
when we're about 1,000 feet or so up, we will go flaps up. I am skyrocketing right now. Woo. And I'm gonna go ahead and make my turn now.
This is a good time to turn those all on. Taxi landing lights on. Parking brake off so we move forward.
So Evan, if you're still watching, if you can tell me how everything looks on your end and how everything sounds, that'd be a big help. Because I made a few little tweaks.
Clear. Rolling down. You asked me to acknowledge. Yes, I acknowledge.
Alright. And we've
So-
almost made our turn.
So on one of my air hauler flights the other night,
Uh-huh.
I was flying that C-47.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot to apply any flaps on the takeoff.
That's what's cool about that C-47. If you have enough runway, you don't need flaps.
No. Sorry, the C-97.
Oh. C-97,
needs
I'm
flaps.
thinking you need flaps.
It needs flaps. I was at the end of the runway going, oh crap, I need flaps. I got it. Got up in the air.
What are you going to be what's your altitude set at?
Yeah, I set it for 22, but I'm not sure if I really want to go that far.
Alright, so... I need to turn that off. And I need to turn that on.
Come on.
Holy crap, I don't need to be climbing at 10.5 degrees. We're gonna take a look back here, see if we can see MoonDog.
Well, I turned on my navigation, but Zig's thing popped up saying that he was playing flight sim
Right.
over top of where I have the button to turn on my.
Sig nav blocked me.
Yeah, he did. Come on.
Temperatures look like. Holy shit, those temperatures are getting up there on the cylinder heads.
Bombardier, Yankee Charlie uniform. Turn right, heading 210. Turn right, heading 210. Bombardier, Yankee Charlie uniform.
There we go.
That's there. And altitude was 22 that I set for. Which means I also need to remember to turn on the cabin pressure. Adjust it up.
Yeah, that's one of the first things I do while I'm doing my setup.
Flying the two different planes, I sometimes forget that one little thing.
Yeah, those cylinder head temperatures are really hot right now. 236 degrees Celsius.
120. 2. Go to 23 to give clearance. All right.
I know I can't be already 10 miles away from you.
Oh yeah, you can, because I was flying in the wrong sort of, not the wrong direction.
He was going the wrong way.
Heading
I was headed more south than west at the east at the moment.
Bombardier, Yankee Charlie uniform. Descend and maintain 1,800. 1,800. Bombardier, Yankee Charlie uniform.
And that, everybody, is the sound of an Easy Dock owner. It's similar to the same sound that chase plane owners make.
Chase plane?
Yeah, it's another one of those camera add-ons for flight sim.
Okay.
The only thing is that chase plane actually causes, at times, everything to crash. So I've seen it take FSX itself, air hauler, and a live stream with it.
Wah, wah, wah.
Hey, it's the mysterious and wonderfully suspicious bipolar prophet.
God, are you
Hey,
going to
baby.
get through that sentence? What's up,
Yeah, I
boys?
don't know. I'm trying to make it up as I went along.
You're doing just fine.
How are you doing tonight, sir?
I'm so bored that I thought I'd watch this boring as whale stuff. So,
Gee, thanks for the great plug for our channels.
you like that, huh? Make sure to watch everybody in the Monkey Show, everybody. Even when they do boring shit like this. No, I'm just kidding. What's going on, guys?
Just flying from Benghazi to Cairo.
Yeah,
Hoping-
you can't do that in real life, right?
Yeah, well, we're hoping we don't
Well.
catch an RPG in the tail.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Well, that's why Zig hasn't actually been able to take off yet, because he hasn't cleared customs yet.
My plane has been sabotaged.
Excuse me, I'm going to need to look in this suitcase. I don't know why there'd be Russians at Benghazi. But I'm just-
I don't know, I
That's
think
that,
Ernie
so
got
that's
pissed
all.
off about the goat and buried your plane.
Looks good, Moondog. Did you get your graphics card settled out finally?
What I have is I just have the settings set well for what I have.
Yeah, it looks good. It looks great.
Looks great. Yeah.
Yeah, it really does.
Okay.
This is the smoothest stream I've ever seen you have. And I've been there for most of it. So this is
Yeah.
very nice.
The only thing missing from this is my painted skin yet.
Oh, I know, Moondog. I know. Everybody's.
I'm
I
just.
got you. I got you. Well,
bringing
you know, I
up-
finally. This is the
You're
Duke,
busy.
right? This is the Duke.
This is the Beechcraft King Air.
Oh, that's the Beechcraft. That's not the one that Roy gave us, right? Because I finally just
No.
installed that after.
Yeah.
I've had it.
Yeah, we've all got that. That's a nice plane.
Yeah, we
It
got
is.
the
No, I haven't flown it because props, but it is. No, it's great. I did load it up. Take a look at it. It's really good. I mean, I may have to. Are you guys doing air hauler stuff right now? Is that what you're doing?
No, we're just
No, we're
doing
just-
a flight.
Just flying.
Just a flight.
Yeah, they have to check things. Yes, I keep saying that.
Well, you say it. You mean it. We
No,
don't
I-
think that you're just bullshitting
No,
us.
I know. I want to do it. I do.
And then what happens? Old Ridge.
No, you know what I'm doing now? You know what I've been doing for the last 2 hours? So, everybody-
Astro.
No. Because if that was the case, I wouldn't be here right now. I'd just be like trying to get Jim or friggin' Duke or whatever that last robot's name was to do things. But no, I've been playing on. I don't know how to pronounce it. It's Nagase Valley, I think it's called. What it stands for is not another Goldcrest edit. It's a huge like Midwestern map, and I discovered these really cool anhydrous ammonia tanks and a big toolbar applicator, and it cuts individual furrows, right? So each knife is its own furrow. Now you get a frame rate. Well, I don't get a frame rate hit, but if you had like a low-end computer, you get a frame rate hit. But I'm using Seasons, and the first day of spring, it's snowing, and it's cool to watch it cut the little furrows in the snow. It's cool as hell. So I've been doing that for the last 2 hours, just going.
So how is that map pretty cool? Because we've actually
It
been
is.
looking at doing a multiplayer map for when we do our live streams, so people don't get bored of just us flying aimlessly.
No, you're not allowed to. No, flying is your. Listen, you guys. What are you guys gonna? What is this? The Monkey Show 2 over here? You guys gonna branch off into your own thing? You guys hardly ever hang out with us. I mean, if you're gonna play
hang out?
fun,
What do you?
Moondog hangs out with us. Draco and
I'm-
Zig never get.
I'm busy all weekend.
Ugh.
It's a scheduling issue as much as anything. You need
Yeah.
to stream between 10 midnight
I stream every day.
once a week.
I stream every day at 2 p.m.
Yeah, I know. Oh, I know.
I mean,
I see it pop up on my phone.
No,
Like, there's BP again trying to distract me from work.
no. I mean, obviously, if you guys want to, if you guys see, the thing is, I was kind of thinking about maybe, because I don't know how long we've been on Aggravation Moondog. How long we've been on that map now? 3 weeks.
4.
So it's a month. Yeah, we got to start looking at more maps. I like this one. This one's really good. It's done very well.
I mean, there was the ultimatum from the, bipolar prophet that we had to get the 30-some million back.
Yeah, well, the way we spend money, I don't see that happening. I do want to cut all that grass, so that'll be a couple.
No, yeah, we want to cut the grass. We want to bale it.
If you guys want to do farm sim, do whatever you want. You know what I mean? That's
like what? We're going to listen to you and not? No.
Well, I could just take you all off the Monkey Soul list. I'm just saying. No, that's cool.
No, of course we. To be honest, I even told Frito. I hung out and watched Frito's stuff, and from that I met Roy, and met you guys, and absolutely thank him for branching me in this direction. Sure. Wonderful people I've met, and no, I wouldn't actually do anything to piss you guys off, and I don't think I'd want to even leave hanging out with the Monkey Show.
No, I'd never leave the Monkey Show.
It isn't. We're not. I mean, it's not an exclusive club. You guys are allowed to do whatever you want. I've been antisocial for the last 2 days because I just can't be arsed to talk to anybody. And I finally felt like tonight, I'm like, oh, these guys are streaming. Let me go see what boring shit they're doing. I'll watch that for a minute.
Every Tuesday night, 10 o'clock Eastern, and every Saturday night, 10 o'clock Eastern.
You guys stream late too. See, I couldn't stream this late. Well, I mean, I could. I just wouldn't. Well, I'm fairly uninteresting on a good day. Never mind at 10 o'clock at night.
No, we've seen you come in, and we've heard you come in. Yeah. You are not uninteresting at this time.
I should probably have asked. Sorry, I had to just sort of dropped in like I owned the place. I didn't mean to do that.
No. What we're saying though is you are interesting. You're probably not stream interesting. You're stream bombing interesting, but that's completely.
And hey, we drop in on your streams, so.
Well, I wish you'd do it more often.
So,
but anyway,
what'd you think of that picture I put up? I posted on the.
That's I was looking at that. That thing's not that big.
Oh, I had to take it from pretty far away. The cops wouldn't let you get anywhere near it.
Yeah.
But it actually took up 2 full lanes, and they actually had to have the utilities crews come out in buckets ahead and push up the street lights and power lines, so that way it could go underneath.
See, that's cool. Now I've seen them. I've seen documentaries. Moondog, somebody's asking in your chat what your plane is. I would tell them, but I have no idea.
Okay, you have no idea. This is the Beechcraft King Air 200B. It's from Flight 1, and it's a really nice mod. It's a really nice mod. It's a really nice plane. It's payware.
Call it a mod.
I'm very happy with it. The only plane that I'm like more than this is actually the C-47.
Yeah, you guys love that DC-3, huh? I tell you what, every time I watch you guys fly that thing, I want to buy that PMDT DC-6, but I don't want to put that kind of money into it because I know I'll fly it twice. Yeah. And it's super complex.
The only thing I have an issue with is I bought the DC-6 from Just Flight. Yeah. Nice plane. But the C-47 kills it, and it's free.
And it's free.
And I'm like, and I haven't flown the other one like at all, and it's like, I'm taking it under this consideration. I'm flipping the price of the two. I'm saying the D6 is free, and the C-47 I should have paid what I did for the other one, so it ends up balancing out that way.
There are some very good payware out there, and there's some really bad. I mean, there's some very good freeware out there. There's some really bad payware.
Right.
So I've had some awful, just horrible play. The black box A320 when that first came out was horrible. It was so bad, and of course it was only like early access was like $20 or whatever. I got a deal through EA to get it, and it was just awful. And I'm like, well, I won't fly that again because I have the Aerosoft A3, 18, 19, and 20, which are fantastic. Maybe not study level in the sense of PMDG, but good nonetheless. But then they fixed it, and it got really good. And I wish that it kept it, because now it's $80. So, live and learn.
But MoonDog got me interested in flying that 757 that Roy found.
Is that the freemium one? Isn't that just Flight's
Yes.
freemium?
Yeah.
You know what? For a free plane now, it's not as probably detailed as it could be, but I have flown that plane and it's good.
Yeah, no, it's not. There's stuff that you should be able to do that you can't.
But for free.
But for free, I did like it the other day. I just qualified in it in air hauler.
Yeah.
And that it was a nice flight.
It flies
It's
good.
quick. It's quick.
Good. Oh, sure, it's quick. Of course it's quick. That's what it's designed to be, isn't it?
I took off from Mac Canton, and it's like, okay, turn to this heading, turn to that heading, turn to this heading, and I was over Lake Erie. I'm like,
right.
This is an hour and a half drive almost, and I'm there in like 10 minutes.
Well, you guys are used to flying these 240 knot prop planes. You get in a jet. You know, wait till you fly a real jet. I am consistently at 600 plus knots. You know what I mean? I don't have time to screw around. Oh, that's why you don't fly a 757 or a 747 or even a 737 for a 20-minute flight. You know what I mean? Because by the time you get up, you're coming back down again.
Yeah. And it was nice because it was a 400 knots before it was over speeding, but it flew at 380 like it was nothing. I had to back off. I'm like, nice.
And the higher you fly, the faster you can go. So
right.
Up to a ceiling. I don't know what the ceiling on the 747 is. Like on the on the 757. The 747 is about 41,000 feet. I like to get up there, but it's hard over Europe. It's hard to get that high in Europe. You can rarely ever get that because of the damn military.
Okay.
Well, see, you know, and it's nothing against like tube liners and stuff like that, because there's some I really, am interested in flying, but like the prop planes, they just seem to have a little bit more character.
Sure. But you've never flown a KMDG 747. Sure. Get a plane. Get it. You want character? Get a plane.
Born diagram.
All the failures.
He's wanting to check the new plane smell. Here's the back with the fold outs and the leather seats and there we go.
There we go. He's going to show off all his cool stuff now. Look at me and my drink holders and my chess tables and.
Yep, there you go. There's the whole.
Where's the hot? I almost said stewardess. Whoops! How long you been flying for BP? Where's the hot cabin crew?
That's on the C-47.
Does
this fancy?
Does this have the? Is this the one with the lights that you can turn on from back there? Oh no, you can't walk around it. You
can't walk around, but you can sit back there. You can turn the light on, like your individual light.
Yeah.
But you can. No, you can't walk back there and stuff.
MoonDog, is that you down there for like 15,000?
He is.
At 15,000.
15 and climbing, actually. Well, he's just coming to 15 now. Did you say you were going to do something at a certain sub? Because Mr. Evan Iverson here has been asking you sub count, which is at 51, by the way. Congratulations.
Is it 51? Because I turned it on, it was 47. 51 is good. I said 50 and 50. 50 here and 50 on Twitch, free giveaway.
Oh, cool. What are we giving away?
I don't know yet. It will be a game. It will be a game. It will not be Shower with Dad.
Oh, come on.
Well, now there's a new simulator. It's Date Daddy Simulator.
Please, let's not talk about that, because that is just uncomfortable.
There
are limits to what I will play, and that one made me oogie. I was like, no, I'm good. I'm good with that.
You were the one that brought it up, though. So, but it will not be.
I thought it was a DLC for Shower with Your Dad Simulator. Turns out it's a whole different game.
So no, it will be probably in the $15 range.
Cool.
I don't know which yet.
Now would be a good segue for me to. No, sorry, not my stream. I'm not gonna do that.
Not your stream. Don't do that. But I will mention that the BPG community's Farming Olympics is coming up, and if you want any information, check out BP's page, or we could just let him speak now. So,
because he mentioned it, now I have to mention it. Bipolar Profit Gaming and the Monkey Show are proud to present the Farming Simulator Olympics, first ever and annual Farming Sim Olympics. A fun and competitive skills challenge where you get to test your skills and showcase your skills in Farm Sim, and hopefully win a cool prize. Going to be giving away some Farm Sim stuff. And all the information for that is on my channel. You can check me out by clicking on my name in the chat. And that's all I want to say about that, because I don't want to hijack everybody's stream. So, but these guys are all part of the Monkey Show. So, and I expect to see all of you there. Block off that time, August 20th.
I will be there.
Well, I know you'll be there, MoonDog, because you're going to win the backing up challenge. But
I have to now. You've built it up. If I don't, I'm in trouble.
What's the master alarm there, MoonDog? What are you doing?
I was playing around with the throttles too much there.
Oh, did you turn it? Did you put your prop conditioners all the way to off, to fuel cutoff? I've done that so many times in the Crash 8. Oh, well, you can't turn them back on again. You've done it, right, Zig? You've done it. I know you have. Yeah. So.
No, I hit the auto to adjust the mix.
Yeah.
And it set it all the way down, and I'm like, no. And because I have the auto restart switched on, so like
turn itself back on.
It'll keep it running. So that's why I did that, and that's what the alarm was. I actually knew what the alarm was.
Good job. Yeah, this is
well. The sub count was 47 when I checked it earlier, so I got 3.
Congratulations.
Yes, that's Bipolar Prophet. He's here. We leased him for the night. It's going to cost us $6,000 to keep him for much longer, so we're going to have to kick him out at some point.
Evan must have subbed with his. Evan must have subbed with his other 3 accounts.
He might have. I know BP has 2. Bipolar 1.
He's your version of Farmer Dad.
Yeah.
No, right. He's on multiple screens. You should always have that guy. There's nothing wrong with having your own personal Farmer Dad, who I miss very much. And so does everybody else, because I've noticed that the amount of people that hang out in the Discord has just dwindled down to nothing since he's been on vacation. When he comes back, I'm like, you're never allowed to leave again.
Well, no, it's not been that. I've been dealing with my work in pay hit stuff. I've got that sort of under control. I've got work coming in.
Yeah.
So my couple of days have been longer, so I've come in and I've quite literally said hi to Roy and Frito, harassed Frito, and then left. So
yeah, Frito's been around quite a bit. It's cool. It's good to see him back again, you know. We've been having like an old time reunion, because you guys probably won't know this, but you know, James RW Powell, my good friend, and then you know, Yoda, the guy who got me into Farm Sim 15, who bought me.
Hitman was in your stream.
Hitman was in my stream, yep. And Fadman tweeted me out, and I haven't talked to him in like 3 years. It's like an old YouTubers reunion, which is really cool. I'm really, that's awesome. These guys, you know, these are the guys I come up with, so it's great to see them. It's great to talk to them again. Oh, but yeah. So can you show me a route, MoonDog, so I have an idea?
No. Yeah. Give me a second here.
So when did Jim pop into your stream? Pop into Discord?
Well, he was on yesterday, but he's got a cold, so he didn't want to talk. He's very particular about his voice. Being an audio guy, you know, it's his thing.
Right.
But he's been in the stream for the last couple of days, so. You have 12 accounts. Well, if you're going to subscribe to me, Evan, could you just use one of them, please?
So, well, that explains it. Half of my subs are Evan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So obviously you're going up North Africa. Very good.
Yeah, we're it should be popping up here in just a second there.
I see it. Very nice. That's a good route. Right along the coast. Very nice.
Well, if you put that in the flight planner, it wants to send you from there over to Greece, through Turkey, back down and around.
Yeah.
Because that's probably the correct way of doing it. And we said, nope, we removed all the VORs and I made the plan myself.
Well, I'm sure we're flying through like a giant no-fly zone or something.
Yeah, there's a bit of that. If you're using real-world navigation, like if you go to SimBrief, do you guys use SimBrief? If you don't, you should be. SimBrief is fantastic.
No.
It's free. If you for routes, for like, and you can get real-world routes. You can make up your own routes. It's awesome. It'll give you a whole PDF file of all the information: your fuel, your weights, your balances, you know, your passenger count, your route, your VORs, your weather, real-world weather. It works with Active Sky and Active Sky Next and Active Sky 2016. It is great, and it's free. All you got to do is sign up. And this stream is in no way brought to you by the makers of SimBrief, but I use it. Well, it's built into BA. That's who we use to generate routes from. So it's fantastic.
So so you can generate a route and then put it in the flight sim, and it'll.
Yep. You can download it as multiple different formats, whether it be a flight sim, flight plan, whether it be for an Aerosoft plane, a PMDG plane, a PDF. So you could just print it out and put it in yourself. It's awesome. Just search SimBrief, sign up. It's great. I've been using it for years and years, and it just keeps getting better. But yeah, there's a lot of no-fly stuff up here, so that's probably why they brought you out over Greece and over into Turkey. Because I know when I fly to Johannesburg, I have to go out over the ocean. I can't just go straight down the middle of Africa. So I have to go.
We're just being rebels, at the moment.
I've been trying
until
to
the Israeli Air Force shows up and says, we'd like you to turn now.
I'd be like, see, I have an American flag on my plane. I'm friendly.
Yeah, I'm cutting your shit out here in the desert. They don't care about that.
No, I've been trying to get Plan G to work, and I cannot figure out Plan G.
Plan G is very old now, I believe, right? Isn't it? If you're serious about flight planning and stuff, and you want to spend a little money, I mean, you're going to spend the money anyway, guys. You might as well spend it on the stuff that counts. PFPX. PFPX is fantastic, and if you get the Top Cat add-on, which is just a couple of bucks more, like $8-10 more, it adds in all the fuel, all the weights, all your zero fuel weights, your center of gravity, your trim calculations, all that stuff. It's fantastic. It's a little expensive, but I tell you what, you'll use it enough to make it worth it. I use it every time I fly, and I don't have to. BA gives me my flights. They sent me a PDF and say, here you go. This is exactly what you do. You put this much, fuel in the plane, blah, blah, blah. You're carrying this many passengers, this much cargo, this many John Smiths, this many infants, whatever, and off you go. But I still run it through PFDX anyway.
So
and we're not allowed to cheat our routes. We have to fly the routes that we're given. So
yeah, it was funny. The other day I was watching. I saw it was VATSIM, but it was air traffic control, and I was like, oh, I'll check this out. This seems interesting.
Yeah.
He was air traffic control for Cork. He had one flight in 3 hours.
Yeah. It's too bad too, because it's rare you get air traffic over Ireland. Like I'll get, when I come in from JFK, when I do the Blue Ribbon route from JFK to Heathrow, I'll get, obviously there's almost always somebody on VATSIM America doing JFK. Usually many people, which is cool. But you rarely get ATC anywhere further. Like you won't get any from Canada. You hardly ever get any from Ireland. And Shannon is the last ETOPS point. Shannon is the diversion point. If the weather's too bad and you can't fly into Heathrow, you got to land in Shannon. Or if you're having engine trouble, or if you're running out of fuel or whatever, you got to divert to Shannon. But there's never any ATC. So go figure. The one night I'm not flying, they have ATC. And it's got to be boring. I've been on VATSIM a long time, and I could take all my controller tests, but I don't have no interest. I don't want to control.
Oh gosh, we leave you in control.
Listen, I take flying seriously.
That could be, well, no, that could be either very strict or very.
Well, it would be right. It would be done right.
Or, yeah.
The thing about VATSIM you got to remember is that a lot of people on VATSIM are not. They're putting in the work. They're learning while they're doing it. So gentle correction is the way to go. Now, Pilot Edge, on the other hand, where these people are actual real life ATC, 100% professional, even though they're training, this is a serious deal. And man, when I flew out of LAX the other day to fly back to Heathrow, I was terrified. I'm like, I'm gonna say something wrong in it, and I'm gonna have this lovely California, probably 20-year-old girl explain to me what I did wrong. And I've been flying longer than she's been alive. But she's gonna tell me that I did something wrong. Luckily, I got it all right. And I talk really fast when I do ATC, so I don't think she had time to sort of process all my screw-ups anyway.
Yeah, I'm actually going pretty fast for this plane. The ground speed is 325 knots.
Yeah, ground speed is nothing. You guys know that.
Yeah, I know.
How
fast are you going, MoonDog and ZigZagy? Whoa.
210, yeah, I was adjusting stuff.
Window. Oh, there you go.
Yeah,
I was like, what just happened?
Yeah, indicated airspeed's 210.
Indicated's 210. True airspeed's 306.
306. Yeah, indicated's whatever it matters.
Yeah.
210's moving right along for this plane, though. I mean, she's up 22,000 feet. Hopefully, you remember to pressurize the cabin there.
There we go. We'll look down there. What does that say? All right.
Oh, you were doing that as I was coming in, right? I forgot.
FSX.
After
Yeah.
you're already over 10,000 feet, yeah. And
No, I
everybody
was
in the back-
under. I was under.
Yeah, I'm at 23.6.
Are you guys landing in a real airport, or is it some little regional?
No,
I
Cairo
now-
International.
I now have 60
Oh, Cairo
subs.
International. I saw.
Okay.
I just looked at the title of the stream. Sorry. I think he has
Alright,
60.
someone has-
Listen, do us a favor though. We appreciate the subs, but we'd rather have, you know, if you want to sub
Yeah.
once, not
Yeah,
a whole
no,
bunch
I
of
don't-
times to all of us.
I'm not going to do the whole. I've got 50,000 subs in 3 days. I'm the best. At,
Oh, you're gonna say it out loud. Okay.
I'm the best flight sim. No, I'm not gonna even go there. So No.
Fastest growing flight sim YouTuber in the world. You notice
No,
how
no.
our homie hasn't been around for the last couple of,
no, that's fine.
you got in trouble.
You know why?
Okay.
You don't
You don't mess.
you
with
don't
the
say
show.
you don't say something that you're going to regret. And I'm not. Even if I did start to grow like that, I wouldn't say anything other than go, "Thank you very much. I appreciate it. It's wonderful."
Exactly.
And
You do this because it's fun. The minute it stops being fun, stop doing it. If you do it for any other reason, you're doing it for the wrong reasons. So,
I'm enjoying it. But what I found out was I plopped into a video while I was just doing something else of mine, and I was trying to stomach my own voice, and then I found out my voice isn't on that stream.
You're trying to stomach my voice.
No, your voice is fine. I was trying to stomach. Mine wasn't on there. Why? Because I had screwed up OBS and it wasn't recording it. So
You know-
that was the first thing I did before I started.
you guys have been doing this long enough now that you should be able to stand the sound of your own voice.
I
Damn.
I
It's
still
fine.
cannot stand the sound of my own voice.
See, I think Zig's got that. Zig's got that. Just sort of, just barely a little bit of twang going on, smooth and silky. I think Zig should talk about
He should, but he's trying to get his flight sim going.
Yeah, my shit's broke. Sorry.
it. It's broke. There you go. Wow. You know something's up when Zig swears. Like I Zig took off his collar and said, "All right, I'm going to stop being a preacher for a minute. I'm gonna swear."
My antivirus thinks my EasyDoc camera is
Yep.
malware all of a sudden.
Yep. You got to turn. Yep. It happens to me every time too. All my add-ons, Easy Dock. Chase Plane is even worse. Jesus. Because Chase
That's what
Plane is
Draco
all-
was just saying a little bit ago.
Chase Plane is all XML. So of course your antivirus is like, oh, we can't have that. I'm like, you're killing me there. And every time BA connects, like I sometimes I forget to turn my antivirus off, and every time BA connects with their telemetry to make sure I'm actually, physically at the computer, sometimes it'll kick me out. No. And I'm like, shit, no. Now I get 2 hours of explaining why I didn't finish this flight. God damn it. I think Draco sounds pretty good. Maybe he doesn't have the suave radio voice that I have.
It's weird that it just mysteriously started happening tonight. I don't know if the antivirus updated or something.
Yeah, maybe.
The whole interface is new, so it's updated at some point.
Yeah. Well, you might have to go through the settings and whitelist every, you don't necessarily want to whitelist XMLs because they could be malware.
Right.
But since all the games we play basically run on XML, I can't even run Farm Sim with my virus.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it won't even load.
But
This is the first time I've ever had a problem with that.
Ziggs didn't just say, "Hey, there's an issue." It quarantined it and
quarantined it.
completely isolated it from the rest of the computer.
Wow.
So it's
Yeah.
not letting the EasyDoc load up.
Load up, right.
Yeah.
And I got used to it now, so it's
It sucks to fly without it. Like I'm just getting used to Chase Plane, and Chase Plane is very, very good. But I'm still not 100% used to it yet. I remember all the things, like how to change views in EasyDoc, and I still have to hunt for the stuff in Chase Plane. But
Well, Chase Plane's still in beta, isn't it, or did it move to alpha?
oh, I have no idea. Thank you,
Draco.
Evan. These guys are amazing. Well,
Evan thinks your voice sounds the best, so I would, once you have that operation, you'll be just fine.
just call him the Mo, Draco, when he mentions that. He mentioned that once, and now it's a constant thing. Just call him the Mo. Welcome to the Mo Flies African tour from Benghazi.
Oh, on a side note, while I think about it, Orbix is on sale, 50% off.
See,
Good, because I actually got paid some of my actual pay that I was required to get. So
cool. Can I have some? Just kidding.
No, I know, but I feel like I'm so happy that I got something that I'm passing it out to individual people.
Maybe
So
you should, do like, I don't know, buy food with it.
I mean,
no, that's what I did. That's quite literally. I got paid, and I'm like, first thing I did was actually go up to my dad's and with putting gas in my vehicle so I could get there, so he could give me some more food money to come back. And yeah, so I'm quite literally at that point. But I've got jobs lined up through the end of next week, and then once our stream's done, I actually want to, in the next day or two, catch with Zig, because he's the actual kitchen and bath design type person. The lady that's I'm doing the work for, which is actually the daughter of the computer store guy, she's like, she hates her kitchen. I want to blow this wall out and move the kitchen out 3 feet. And I'm like, well, there's an issue with that. What? There's no foundation there. Well, do you need that?
Well,
Minor details.
Walls
Yes.
generally don't float by themselves. Sometimes, if you get lucky, I guess you can get
well,
shit.
if it's 7 days to die, you can get that.
Yeah.
Or Minecraft, then that'll be fine.
Yeah, you can just build out in the space.
And I'm trying to explain, well, no, it'll be fine for about 3 weeks, and then once it starts to settle and you get cracks in the walls, and then you call in bitch and complain that there's cracks in the walls, then you'll go, why, there's a foundation is needed. And then I'm like, on top of it, that project, a little bit bigger than what MoonDog can do. So,
just grab like 8-10 cinder blocks, stack it out there, and then just build on top of that. It'll be fine. I mean, what's the worst that can happen?
No, you don't understand. She actually spent money for this bathroom that they're doing, and Zig's going to laugh his head off here in a second. The guy that did the tile work put the floor in the shower stall perfectly flat.
Oh, that works awesome.
Whoops.
Right. She's got puddles because it won't drain, and the guy brought her a squeegee to clean her floor.
So instead of making her a bathtub floor or a shower floor, he made her a pool.
A waiting pool.
I mean,
That was nice.
I mean, it runs down and all that, but it doesn't clear out the correct way. And it's like, and the tiles they used was fine, but he suggested her get the tiles that they put in for the floor, and it's like, those tiles aren't going to really work the best on the floor because you're not going to get the slope down like you wanted in the pattern that he did. So it's like,
so you guys just now it's starting to get very esoteric, and I don't. VP, not much of a craftsman, don't really understand.
yeah, well, that's fine, but Zig's going, oh gosh.
Water runs downhill.
Well, I get that. Thanks, Zig, for pointing that out. Yes, I know that. You know why I know that? Because I'm below my septic tank, and when my septic tank was clogged up, and luckily it was my own shit that came flying out of the drain and into my washing machine. Yeah, water definitely.
Yeah. Well, at least you learned that, right?
I will be right back, gentlemen.
I'm not much of a craftsman. If you took a look at the house, you'd be able to tell that. My thing is cheap and make sure it doesn't fall down. That's really all I'm concerned about.
Nah, but when she's doing stuff like that, and then it's like, well, she's like, well, what if I put the dining room in here, or the kitchen in here, which is the dining room? I'm like, you have a better shot at that than blowing out the wall in the front of the house. And
she's she's got some big ideas, and big ideas usually translate into big money.
Well, she does, but at the same point, I know that it's going to be big money, and I sort of know her current income. She can't do it all at one go. So it's like, at the same point, I got to go, this is what you can do, and then we'll move on. Because they don't even technically own the house. They're renting it, but they're renting it from her future father-in-law, who will at some point probably sell it to him. So
that line of relation there's getting confusing.
Yeah, I know. Trust me. So it's like,
every so often, like MoonDog will go off on one of these stories, and I'm sure it happens to him with me too when I do it. But after a while, all you hear is, and you wait for the end and hope you didn't miss too much. You can make an intelligent comment at the end and say something like, "Oh, grapefruit, yeah." So.
Yeah. Yeah, and I got to throw a roof on my dad's place next week.
I'm glad you decided to fly over the desert, because it's really exciting to watch.
I know the desert's awesome, isn't it?
Well, which way were we going to go? We were able to go desert with coast, or we could go straight into Africa over desert.
Right.
We figured into Cairo where we could maybe catch pyramids on the way and then go down that way.
Yeah, you should see something. You're going to be flying over Luxor. You should probably see the Great Pyramid.
That's what I was.
Did you see the
thinking when I
Coliseum?
made
You guys flew into the wrong Rome airport. You didn't have the Coliseum on approach coming into Rome.
No.
They should have flew into the other one. You would have.
Well, at some point we still got to fly into Innsbruck because Roy was the only one to suggest flying in there, and we flew in there a couple of times, but not on the stream yet. So
Innsbruck on the 9 right RNAV approach. Oh, that is. It's not going to be hard in these. You got to do it in a big plane. You got to do it in those 757s if you're going to do it. And let me know when you're going to do that because I'll come in with my 747 and do it with you.
Well, we did it in Basler's C-47s, and it wasn't that difficult.
No, you got to do it in a big plane where you look out the window and you're like, that mountain is getting awful close to that engine. It is so much. It may not be. It's sort of. I guess it's a little overrated because it's been done so many times, right? And there's so much published approach information on it that you could just nail it every time if you really paid attention. But there's always that minute when you make that hard left turn and you're like, did I overcook it? Did I come in too shallow? Did I, Kai Tak was like that too. Flying into Kai Tak Airport before they closed it down, that was a fantastic approach. Right, you're 10 feet. Your landing gears, your wheels are 10 feet above the city buildings. You're looking for the checkerboard nailed to the side of a hill, somewhere. That was a great approach. Now the airport's closed, you don't fly in there anymore. But if you want to do Innsbruck, let me know and I'll come in with some big plane. Maybe I'll do it to 757 too.
We'll do that. We'll plan that one out. And the last time we did that, was it the Basler that we did it? And this is after Zig and I already did it once. We landed no problem. Second time, all three of us flew in there, and someone didn't quite land at the front end of the runway. It landed towards the end, and it wouldn't stop, and I went through the river.
But the best part was that he just didn't go through like the river and then just kind of skip. He hit the other side of the riverbank and ricocheted back up in the air.
Yeah, well, that'll happen. Flight sim ground physics,
Yeah. So then I flew up, and then I had to make a sharp right 90 degrees pivot and try not to bank off and bounce off that mountain, and then I did finally land.
But in all fairness, though, you were following the GPS approach in, and it had you starting about ready to land in the middle of the city.
Yeah, I then.
Yeah, you got to follow that to do that right. To do that approach right, because it's an RNAV approach, and it's really visual. I mean, once you get configured, you want to be visual. If you're not visual, you gotta call off. You know what I mean? Yeah. Go around and get visual and wait for the weather or whatever, because there's no ILS. The ILS approach in Innsbruck is easy. Anybody can do that. That RNAV is fantastic. Though. I love that approach. I've done it a bunch of. I don't fly in Innsbruck, unfortunately, with BA, but I've done it with my 747 just because it's fun. And she just about fits in there. So
we had just enough clouds that it made it interesting.
Well, it was raining.
Clouds were fine, and then it would break up, and then it would cloud over, and then it would rain. I mean, we don't do anything where there isn't rain. I'm surprised because this is a desert. It's not raining.
It's probably not going to rain here, MoonDog.
Well,
no, there's going to be a freak storm will come off the Mediterranean any minute, and
well, virtually every single flight we've done since we started off in Spirit of St. Louis, we've run into storms.
Yeah.
We ran into storms at Akron, Canton. We ran into storms at Boston.
Well, it's gonna if it's storming. If you're running real weather and it's storming somewhere in the world and you're flying there, well, you're gonna get that weather.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Well, what was funny though is when we landed. Was it Rotterdam? We landed in.
It's always fucking raining. Amsterdam Schiphol. I've never been in there once when it wasn't raining.
Well, the funny thing is that MoonDog and Zig had never landed IFR.
Yeah.
I have only done it a couple of times, so I was somewhat familiar with it. And watching us three monkeys trying to land IFR.
Do you mean ILS? Coming in on the ILS?
No, we had to file an IFR because VFR, you could only fly in IFR. They wouldn't allow you to fly in VFR.
Too many clouds.
And then you had to come in with ILS and all that. It was entertaining to say the least.
You'd be the only people I've ever seen have a hard time flying ILS.
No,
ILS is the boringest thing. I mean, I do it obviously, but it's because you can't really. I mean, I've gone visual in the 747. I usually take over at about 1,000 feet because after 12, 13 hours in the chair, that's about as much as I want. The 747 will happily land itself. I click a button, put the auto throttle off, and it'll happily land itself. But I don't know.
Well, the thing is,
I think there's too much automation.
Well, the thing is, I was flying this plane, so there is no auto landing. It was, you know, take over, and it wasn't like a regular rainstorm. I mean, we were getting buffeted around pretty good, getting, you know, blown way off course and everything trying to land. And
Sure.
you know, at least they had the GPS, so it was helping them. But I had to do it all. I had to do it all by hand, and it was not something I care to repeat.
That's what's cool about the flight director, though. You keep the purple line, you know, in the center of the compass, and ride that in. Of course, you guys are cowboys. You'll land in a 4 crosswind, even though this thing's probably, you know, only rated at 25 knots or whatever. Whereas most people are like, nope, hell with this. I'm going around. I'm gonna divert, come back when the weather's better or whatever.
Oh yeah, we're rebels.
You guys like, nope, gonna land it no matter what. Oh, like you're carrying human organs or some shit. You know what I mean?
More than once I've heard Zig say, I'm landing wherever the hell I want. The hell with what air traffic control says.
Zig's been known to land at the wrong airport.
No,
that was me.
Drako. That's Drako.
Oh, that was you that landed at the wrong airport.
Zig's been known to land on the taxiway and in the grass.
Yeah, that happens. Not in a while, but it has happened.
Me too. In a Cessna, I put it right down in the grass, close enough.
Cessna can land in the grass.
But I was proud of Zig though. He did do a belly landing and did not cartwheel it.
Forget to put your gear down.
That was a joke for a while. When I first started, I had a problem remembering to do that.
See, that's why they have checklists, boys. That's why you have the before landing checklist to make sure all your shit's set right.
Well, see that's the cool thing with that C-47. It has a checklist and it'll do the call outs.
Yeah,
so we're starting to get sort of a list going, and I think I'm applying it.
The list is short on some of the GA aircraft. There's not much to do, and that was when I went from like the Skylane or whatever that one is, where the gear is always down, to one where you had to put the gear down. So there were several landings I just kept forgetting. I was so excited about doing other stuff.
Right.
Yep. Yeah, it was Zig being new, you know, he had never flown before. I told him, you know, I would fly the Skyhawk first because it's slow.
Yeah, the Skyhawk.
Huh?
Oh, I called it a Skylane, but it was a Skyhawk.
Yeah, I told him.
172.
Yeah, because it's slow, it's stable, and you know it's easy to fly.
Stable my ass.
I've never had an issue with it.
I hate that plane. It's
slow. We're better pilots than BP. Just put it out there because I watched them land.
It's too slow. Better. How do you land a plane at walking fucking pace? There's not enough air going over the wings to keep it aloft. I mean, I'm coming in with the Cessna at like 60 knots. I'm thinking 60 knots. Jesus Christ, I taxi faster than this. Well, I'm like, what the hell?
Well, the plane only weighs like 500 pounds.
I know. But see, you got to realize it's been, God, 15 years since I've flown any GA stuff. You know what I mean? I started at VA, and I flew the Twin Otter, a horrible freeware version of the Twin Otter, from London City to like Jersey, the Isle of Jersey, like 4 times a week or whatever, getting my regional certification, and then moving up. Whoa, that isn't. I mean, I get it with this plane. God, it's so ugly.
I jumped over to your plane there on my stream.
It's the
my plane.
Yeah. Well, it's the C-97 with the fuel drop on it. It's the closest one we can get for his plane that's sort of freeware. It at least gives a visual that's close instead of saying a 747 or
a glider.
You know, a glider.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, basically, the KC-97 and the C-97 are just the military versions of this plane.
Right. Well, the KC is the tank.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep. There's a lot of them still cruising around too. I think over my house every day. I only live about 20. No, not even. The way they fly, probably 12 miles from Westover Air Force Base, which is the second biggest Air Force base in New England. So that's where they.
I don't know. I guess the Stratocruiser is just an acquired taste. I think it's a really beautiful plane, but you know, other people think it's just ugly looking. But
it's all in what you like, you know what I mean? And that's the cool thing about any of these things, you know what I mean? Tractors, trucks, whatever. You know what I mean? I had a whole discussion on my stream today about Scania T's. Oh, well, Scania T's are ugly. No, they're not. I mean, you may think they're ugly, but I don't. I think they're great. They're my favorite truck. So, you know, you get to have your opinion about what you like and what you don't like, you know?
And I will voice right now, I prefer the Scania T over the flat-nosed Scanias and DAFs and all that. But
Have you
that's
seen
just because
the have you seen the next gen Scanias, the R's and the Streamlines? Oh,
No.
they're pretty sexy, I gotta say.
But then again, I've liked driving the flat Freightliner cab over
Yeah.
in ATS. So it's quite literally, yeah.
It's funny. I do the same thing. I have a Scania T with a nose in Euro truck and an American truck. And right now I'm driving a Kenworth K200, which is a cab over.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I'm checking out your plane right now, Moondog. For some reason, you got a lot of right rudder going.
Do I?
not
No.
according to his HSI. His HSI says he's level.
Yeah, I'm just going by what I'm seeing. It's showing a lot of right rudder.
Yeah. And you were sort of pointed nose down. Flights
Well,
FS Join is a whole lot better than FS Cloud.
well, no, I am
But-
pointed down a little bit. My because I have an autopilot on, it has me pointed at negative 2.1 degrees. But that's because of how I'm loaded.
On Moondog's stream, it's his rudder straight. Oh, his rudder's level. Right back.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well,
I'm on.
no, I'm at 60 viewers or subs on there, and if they're duplicates, I'd like them to be removed. I'd like it to be honest, but I appreciate the thought.
I'm gonna do a restart here. I'll be back.
Okay.
All right. Well, it's like we lost all the conversation there. I'm at 22,000 feet. You're just ahead of me a bit, and I'm doing 210. So you're
I'm at
just ahead of
210.
me.
I'm at 210, but I'm at 23.6.
23.6. Okay.
And,
I mean, I could catch up to you by just nosing down a little bit,
Right.
but
well, I am.
I could probably even.
I'm probably about
Just sit
59
this way.
miles from first waypoint.
59. What is? Mine says 84 actually. So
Let me
what I'll
double
do
check.
is this. I'm going to.
Yeah, I'm probably like 56. Or, well, now probably more like 56, 57 nautical miles.
I'm going to pump this up a little bit.
Oh, you could definitely increase some speed.
But once again, I'm doing rough estimates by my paper nav chart that comes with this plane.
Gotta pay more attention to chat, Moondog. Did you see what Evan wrote? He's your little fanboy, huh? Good for you.
Yeah.
All right, this has been awesome. You guys are amazing, and not enough people know about it.
I did see that. Yes, I agree. We should have a whole lot more people. But at the same point, I don't want the same person 42 times. It's nice. I appreciate the thought. And
And don't get
to
us
be
wrong,
honest,
we
the
appreciate
whole
each and
monkey
every
show
single one of you.
deserves it. Yeah.
Well, I'm already famous, but thank you.
No, I mean,
Wow, that was an asshole thing to say.
yeah, that was. But the whole monkey. I mean, David, who does a very good job. He's very good at everything he plays game-wise. Farm manager.
Oh, and he never streams.
Whatever.
I wish David would
Yeah.
stream on it. Because he can't talk. He's like you guys. He hates the sound of his own voice. You guys are in the wrong business then. Damn, you guys are in the wrong business. You better
I
be
watched
used to your voices.
I watched his ETS or ATS. It was like 4 hours of nothing but the sound in the truck sound, which is fine if you like the sound of the truck.
Good.
Cavalier Roy, he deserves
he's
a bunch
another
of
one.
viewership.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
He never talks either.
Kevin, if he's starts streaming, which he said he was interested in doing that.
Yep. Once
You
he
know,
gets
we all-
healed up, he's gonna be streaming, and he's got a great accent too. A little hard to understand, but you get
It's
to
a
hang
little
with it after a while.
more English. Let's just put it that way. I think.
Yeah.
It's due to the different dialects there.
Right.
Yes. I turn on my
But then
videos
again-
long enough to make sure I can hear what everything sounds good, and then I turn it off.
I'm getting used to it. It's fine. It's not the voice that I hear in my head. So it's just getting used to what it actually is.
You know what? It's fun.
Frito's hard to understand, and that's just because he's out there with all them others in Oregon and Washington talking to the
Weirdos.
birds. Yeah.
So I officially became a part of the Monkey Show today. I streamed for about 11 minutes today with my mic on mute. I was talking away, and then Travis popped into the chat, and he was like, Well, Peter first. He's like, BP, if you're talking, we can't hear you. I'm like, oh, you got it. Really? I was all ready, like 20 minutes early. I had everything loaded up. Restream was up. Everything was running. And I'm talking away, doing my intro and everything. And then Peter's like, BP, are you talking? Because we can't hear you. Crap. Yep. Here we go. And I never did my mic, ever. But I was doing...
No, we can hear when you stomp off and screaming and raving.
Oh, God, yeah. I don't mute my mic. It's part of the show. But I muted it because I was doing a set of Corso. I was doing the next round of my custom championship, and I don't want to talk during those because I'm trying to race, and I don't want to keep the mic open. Even though I don't talk, it'll still pick up the sounds of me grunting and sweating and swearing at the AI and everything. So
right,
so I just mute it.
That you want as it looks to me as the race, the car, your point of view. You don't want to be injecting anything other than that. Like, God damn, that son of a bitch. You don't want that.
No.
But then again, that would add a little bit of realism because real race car drivers, how much do you think they swear at the other drivers? And
you know what's funny though? I can tell you from experience that having spent multiple thousands of hours in a race car, in a virtual race car, that it's funny. It depends on the situation. When if I'm doing something with iRacing or one of my leagues and I'm running a long race, there'll be hours where I won't say a word, and somebody will come on and be like, John, you okay? Yep. Car's good? Yep. Because I don't want to hear it. I don't want to talk. I'm focused, you know what I mean? That's, if I'm just screwing around, doing something, I'll talk. But when I'm racing, I'm focused on the car and what it's doing and what I'm doing. I don't have time to be entertaining.
Right.
So that's why I couldn't stream, I couldn't record my flights either because, somebody would ask me in chat, what are you doing? I'm watching a movie. The plane's flying itself. I don't need to do anything. You know what I mean? I'm monitoring.
I'm watching Police Academy on Netflix. What do you think I'm doing?
The other night when I flew from LAX to Heathrow, I got up to the cruise, got up to 30,000 feet, got up to the cruise, got a little VAT sim over the East Coast, and then did my check-in, did my ETOPS, my position reports, my fuel reports, and all that. Had 6 hours over the Atlantic. I put on Grand Tour on Amazon Prime and watched that all the way into the approach to Heathrow. Occasionally would look over the plane. Yep. Still in the air? Good. Yep.
How long of a flight was that for you from LAX to Heathrow?
With the queue at LAX, because VATSIM America or VATSIM California was having an event, and then with the queue coming into Heathrow early morning like that, about 13 hours.
Damn.
13 hours.
Yeah.
And I thought 6.5 from Canada to Cork was long.
That's 3.5 on each side. So the flight over wasn't bad at all because I'm cruising. I'm flying with the prevailing winds, and the weather was good. The weather was fantastic all the way across the United States. Got overcast as you got over Ireland, like it always does. Just completely blocked out coming into Heathrow. Couldn't see anything. Couldn't see the runway till the damn back wheels touched down. But the weather was fantastic, so I didn't have to do anything. No buffeting. Didn't have to slow down. Didn't have to change course. Just file my ETOPS reports over the ocean, check in with BA every 2 hours, watch the Grand Tour. It was great. And people ask me, they're like, well, what's the challenge in that? Well, I've already done all the challenging bits. I've done all that. You know what I mean?
The challenging bit is not being asleep when
you
call him and check on me.
The challenging bit is to simulate what real life pilots do. Real life pilots will spend 10 hours in the plane, and then they have to get up and be in a non-responsible position out of the chair for at minimum 4 hours, which generally means going up into the crew rest area and having a meal and sitting down on the bunk and having a nap or whatever. Well, I can't do that. So the challenge is for me is to be in the chair for 12, 13 hours. So that's how I have nearly 12,000 hours with BA. So, and I enjoy it. I love my plane. I know the 747 inside and out. So the virtual one. I'm not saying I could sit down in a real one and fly it because I couldn't. But I fully enjoy it. I just become such a snob. I need to do other things in flight sim. It's such a waste.
It wouldn't surprise me though if on long flights pilots aren't pulling up like little portable DVD players, setting them up somewhere and they're just sitting there watching them.
I can tell you that in a real flight there is a lot more that you're supposed to do. Like we have what's called procedural outlines on BA, right? For each plane. And now somebody's actually going to the trouble of making them for each route, you know, that we fly. So, and it's pages and pages and pages of stuff that you could do while you're flying these long haul flights. You know, navigation calibrations, position reports, fuel reports, you know, checking on engine temperatures and engine performance and all this other stuff that you could be doing while you're on these long flights. But the problem is that while, yes, in my plane's case, all that stuff is modeled, I can't be arsed, you know what I mean? I just want to make sure that all the gauges are, you know, green and the plane's flying in a, you know, basically straight line. So I know there's guys in BA that do it, you know, that do every bit of everything that a real pilot would do. And don't think that the real pilots, like my 747 has a tablet built into it, right? And I can pull up things from my computer on the tablet. And don't think real pilots don't do that too. You don't think they're not,
sure
they're not watching, you know, Top Gear or whatever? Yeah, of course they are.
Yeah, because, you know, even if they have all that, you know, a 13-hour flight, I mean, I'm sure they get that all done within, like, what, 30 minutes or so?
Yeah, usually by the time you get up into the cruise, once you're fully established in the cruise, you're pretty much done doing anything. You're pretty much done having any interaction with the plane unless something happens for the next however many hours. So then you're just monitoring the systems, which can be challenging in itself.
The comment of, wow, this is awful boring. Well, a good flight would be boring, right?
Exactly.
You didn't crash. You didn't have any instances.
Exactly.
You didn't have nothing to cause you to go, oh crap.
The good flights are the boring ones. Yep. That's very much what your passengers want to hear. That it was a boring flight. Yes, thank you. But no.
And we joke around where you go, oh crap, and then Draco goes, that's just what the pilot, you know, the passengers want to hear is the pilot going, oh crap.
Or where are we?
No, the best one is when you walk in the back of the cabin and ask the cabin crew to make you a drink. So, I'll have another gin and tonic.
But, you know, I was watching this one YouTube channel. It was about, you know, they actually had, like, a real cameraman in there filming, you know, actual airline flights.
Yep.
Anyway, in the middle of one of the flights, it was a 747. One of the engines went out when it was getting ready to. It wasn't quite on final to. I want to say it was Berlin or something like that in Germany. Anyway, they declared an emergency, said that they were losing an engine and they're going through emergency procedures. They needed priority landing. The air traffic controller in Berlin told them that they had 3 other planes ahead of them. Please circle.
Well, you know what though? One engine in a 747 is nothing. Means nothing. A 747, especially the GE engines and the Rolls-Royce ones that are on my plane, are powerful enough that it will lift a 747 from a dead stop to 30,000 feet in the cruise at 500 knots on one engine. So the other 3 are just sort of, you know, ballast. Now, it does unbalance the plane having one engine, but you just shut it off. And you can definitely land, and you can definitely sit in the hold as long as you have fuel. As long as it's not on fire and it won't go out, it's really not a massive... I've simulated failures in my plane occasionally because somebody will private message me on VATSIM and say, we're working on emergency procedures with this guy. Can you know, simulate this emergency? Sure. You know, what would you like me to do? Well, how about a landing gear failure? I can turn off an engine. Because landing gear failure, I don't feel like trying to belly land the 747 today. I'm not really into it. I've been in the chair too long or whatever. And I've done it for him, you know. Badly, I should point out. But the best thing is when you fly
down the runway.
Yeah, well, what you do is you come in basically at full power, right? All the engines screaming. And as soon as you're over the threshold, idle, full reverse, air brakes all the way out, right? And you're mashing that yoke forward as hard as it'll go to get the nose to hit first. Because if the front of the plane breaks off, you're less likely to kill everybody in the back. That's the correct procedure to do that. I'm not Sully. I'm not just going to glide it down with no landing gear and just kiss it, you know. But the guy on VATSIM was working on his emergency certification, and, you know, and I was like, yeah, I'm happy to help, you know. Just don't ask me to do anything too ridiculous because I've been flying for a long time.
Yeah, that's why.
Make your turn yet?
Yeah, basically it was flip from nav 1 to nav 2 and keep flying straight.
Okay, I was just wondering because I'm about 19 from it, so.
Listen to you guys. You're starting to sound like pilots. You better watch out.
It's Zig's fault.
Is it not my fault?
It ain't my fault.
Ryan, how was it your fault?
No, you're the one. You're the one that kept going. Well, I want what's the chart? What's ILS for this place? What's the correct landing direction? He's been very specific on all this, so we just sort of.
You guys should get a Navigraph subscription. Navigraph is fantastic. That's the way to go. Up to date, current, real world nav aids, real stuff. And if you sign up for SimBrief, you can always update the SimBrief navigation with the latest navigation from Navigraph. And it's not expensive. It's actually pretty cheap. And if you get the full package, I think it's $45 a month or whatever. And I think it's probably even cheaper than that now. You get the full package. You get access to everything. Training, charts, I mean, just millions of pages of stuff. It's definitely worth it.
I just grab my phone and type in ILS for whatever airport I'm going in at, and it gives me all the runway ILSs.
And that's fine, but a lot of times it's very out of date. Some of that stuff is very, very old. And depending on how new your plane is, if your plane is programmed with a more current nav data, you'll never, you know what I mean? You'll be like, well, I'm 30 degrees off, right? Because, the nav data is saying it's here, and my plane is saying it's there.
Which is probably why Draco has a few times been 30 miles east or west of Zig and I, because he's following different VORs or the same VORs due to that plane.
Well, you also have to figure too, I'm following radio, where you guys are following VORs, but your VORs are built into your GPS, so your GPS is more accurate than radio VOR is.
Well, Doug, you don't got to adjust that cabin pressure, right? It'll adjust automatically. You only got to set it for your landing.
Okay.
Altitude.
Well, I was going up some, so that's why.
You generally want to set it at, like, I don't know, well, below 10,000 feet, obviously. But after that, you don't have to mess with it until you're about to land. Then you set it for your landing altitude, and then that's it. It should auto correct. Any pressurized plane will do that.
Hey, you learn something new every so often.
You know how many times I've forgotten to forget? Like, and the 747 will absolutely remind you. It'd be like, I'll get out master alarm saying I haven't turned the packs on. Like, it's gonna be getting pretty cold back there. Maybe I could turn those on.
But I don't know how many times I've landed and forgotten to decrease the pressure from, like, because I usually set it when I'm flying about 20,000. I usually set it about 5,600, and I'll land and I'll be like, oh shit. So then I'll just hit the emergency decompression and back.
That's good, yeah. Just and then have the plane cleaning crew come in and scrape everybody's brains off the inside of the plane.
I haven't had one passenger complain yet.
There are planes that simulate the because what will happen is it'll be very hard to land a plane. It'll be like trying to land a helium balloon.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because the plane will actually be bigger in space than it would be without the pressurization.
I wonder if this doesn't model that, because I've noticed that when I forget to do that, I have a hard time. I'll float left and right.
Yeah. It does make a difference. It's a silly little thing.
I never would have thought that.
Yep. Well, you got to realize that you're inside a giant tin can, right? And the air pressure is pushing against the walls of the plane, makes the plane naturally more buoyant. So what's the first thing you do when you're going to land in water? And the reason I know this is because I've simulated it, because we had to at VA, is you put the pressure, turn all the packs on max, and in the 747 you have a water landing setting that you can set, and it just cranks the cabin full of air, basically turns the plane into a helium balloon.
So then it makes it easier for it to stay afloat
while you get everybody off, right? Yeah. Because as soon as you open the doors, obviously all the air rushes out, but that also helps with passenger egress. It helps the ramps extend and all that, and it keeps the plane afloat while everybody gets out. Planes are designed to float for X amount of minutes anyway, if they're structurally sound. If you put them in the water and they don't break up, they're by law, they have to float for X amount of minutes to allow however many people are on the plane to get off. Now, if you hit the water and the plane breaks up, well, then all bets are off, and take your chances.
That's one of the things I've always wondered about, like the DC-3, the 6, and like my plane and whatnot, the prop engine planes. When they do water landings, how often would those props snap off the hub and end up go through the cabin?
That's not so, because of the way they're positioned on the wing. That's not so much of an issue, because what happens is when you hit water, the whole nacelle, the whole engine will, because the gyroscopic effect of the prop spinning will actually rip the nacelle off and blow it away from the plane.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Mostly. Or it'll rip the wings off. So that generally...
The density of the water is actually going to slow it down so fast it's going to snap and break in a position where it's not flinging it, it's grabbing it and holding it.
Right. The only time you'd have to worry about a prop coming through the cabin is if you hit something solid. You know what I mean? Or a bird strike, even if you broke off a piece of prop, that could happen. But generally, because props counter rotate, they're going to spin away from the plane as opposed to into them. It's far more scary to look out your window and see one of your $35 million Rolls-Royce engines on fire, knowing that that's just spitting out little pieces of metal out behind the plane, bouncing off the tail and everything, ripping your rudder to shreds.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I've had that happen on this plane. I've had an engine catch fire on me,
and you can't shut it off fast enough.
Well, luckily, this has all, like carb air override switches and fire extinguisher switches and all that. And they usually put it out pretty quick on the first try, but then you have to start dumping fuel out of that tank for that engine. And
yeah, because now you're unbalanced because you're not using the fuel in that engine anymore, so you get all the weight on that side. That plane's hard to fly, and double engine planes are very hard to fly with one engine. Multiple engine planes aren't bad on one engine. Like I could easily fly. I mean, if I say I lost an engine coming out of Heathrow going to JFK, I could easily make the rest of the trip. You know what I mean? Without even really noticing that it was gone. Little reduction in speed probably, but other than that, it wouldn't affect the plane one bit. Lost two engines? No, I'm fine.
Well, there's been a time one time I lost engine 1, and the other time I lost engine 4. Luckily, they're both the outboard engines.
Yeah,
which
makes it a lot better. Yeah.
And and luckily I never lost 2 engines at the same time. But except for a little slower speed, I really didn't notice a difference in the plane how it handled.
No.
Once I jettisoned the fuel from first, I would take as much fuel as I could from that tank and pump it into the other 3 engines, and then jettison the rest.
And then fill out all the environmental paperwork while you jettison kerosene all over the environment.
Well, they don't mind if you have a good enough excuse. I've just felt like it.
They do mind.
No, I just felt like doing it for practice.
Especially when it goes aerosol and it drips down like rain. And the kids are outside playing. Mommy, the rain smells funny.
It's right over the Old Ridge, and then you have that farmer down there pissed off that his now his whole crop.
No wonder my pH is so wrong. Yeah.
Yeah. I've got cows down here. You just
or it lands all over his hay field, and just as he's getting ready to rake, and he hits a rock.
Ignites.
Yeah. And then Roy's got to explain it. His hand, Roy.
Which I can speak from experience, does happen a lot more often than you'd think.
Sure.
Not the kerosene all over the field, but you hit a rock, get a spark in a hay field.
The spark will set it off. The hay sheds burn down all the time. Some guy in there smoking a cigarette, with the hay shed, drops his match or puts a cigarette out in a hay bale, and next thing you know.
Or a cow kicks over a lantern and burns down a city.
The whole city burns down. See, I knew you were going with that. I saw that coming.
I recognize that, but I don't know which movie. Come on.
No, it's the Chicago Fire. The Great Chicago Fire. This is O'Leary's cow, remember? That's how it actually started. Although, who knows? Who knows how it actually started? That's the myth, you know what I mean? Who knows? It's a good myth, so we stick with it.
As a matter of fact, that's how Brookfield Zoo came to be about. They built it on the rubble that they shoved out into the lake from the Chicago Fire.
Oh, did they?
Yep. There was so much rubble from the Chicago Fire, they actually added land to the city of Chicago.
What year was that? It was 18-something, right?
Yeah, it was, I want to say, like 1880.
Yeah. So Chicago was pretty big at that point.
Yeah. But it was still all made out of wood. The sidewalks were wood, and
yeah.
And the worst part is that when the fire department was arriving, they had the steam pumpers that burned coal.
Yeah.
So it would throw embers as they were going, which set more buildings on fire.
More buildings on fire, yep. That happened in New York, too. Just about half of Brooklyn burned down in the early 1900s because of that exact thing. They had steam pumpers, and they were, they're firing them with coal, and they'd get them so hot that the boilers would be red hot, and they'd rush down, between buildings, and they'd catch a tree on fire. And then the tree would catch the building that it was next to on fire, and then that building would catch the building on, and so a small fire suddenly turns into half the city's on fire. It can still happen today. I mean, these fire engines, we think about how hard a fire engine has to work, especially a pumper truck.
Yeah, you get it overheated, and the motor, it gets hot, and then the turbo on it goes out, and spews oil everywhere, and now you got fire.
Now your fire engine's on fire, right?
Yeah.
Which sadly happens a lot more than you think.
It happens, yeah. I've seen it happen. I saw it happen in our local truck. We used to have an old it was a Dodge something or other, but they used it because we were a very rural area where I grew up. So they used to use it to pump water out of the pond. Like, we had a lot of ponds in the town, so they would get water out of whatever pond was closest to the fire, right? And one time, I guess it was a big land fire, brush fire, but they didn't want to get across Route 20, which is a pretty major road. So they were just constantly pumping water. And this truck was running for like 6 or 7 hours. Well, somebody bothered to go back and check it. And basically, the only reason they even noticed it was there was no more water coming. Well, that's because the truck was just a big pile of molten slag on the bank of this pond, because it just literally melted down to nothing because it had been on fire. Nobody even noticed it. The funny thing was that the fire chief said, he was like, well, it had to have been burning for at least an hour for it to melt down this much, and it was still pumping water. That was a good truck, he says.
Well, yeah, they knew how to build those trucks back in the 50s and 60s.
It was like an old Dodge, like a power wagon, like one of the ones that you'd see, like the military used to have. Like, it was probably a Massachusetts National Guard, leftover or whatever. But yeah, they had that thing. I mean, for years and years and years, as long as I can ever remember, they had that until that one fire when they just melted it down.
Actually, the Randolph Fire Department, where I grew up most of my life, they probably had the same thing. It was one of those power wagon, 2 hoses, reels on either side.
Yep.
And to be honest, I think they probably have it still stashed out back just in case.
Like that was our brush truck. That was the thing they would bring to put out brush fires, because it had the big pump on the front with a generator, so they could just drop out, the hose into the pond, and then run the hoses off the side of the truck. But nobody bothered to check this thing for however many hours, and it just melted itself down to nothing.
Well,
they actually used to bring that one out to the fairgrounds for the demolition derby.
Oh, to spray down
to spray down in case the cars
caught on fire.
Got on fire. That was the one that they could zip up the side real quick next to it, spray down the car. Okay, all the rest of you back to work. Get someone.
Well, when I was on the fire department, they had what used to be their first one of their frontline engines that ended up, back in the 70s, but then it ended up becoming our brush truck. Anyway, one day we were coming back from a small little brush fire, and we got a call for a house fire. Pulled up. Anyway, me and 2 guys go in with the hose, and all of a sudden there's no water. We walk out, the engine just blew up on it, just as we're going inside.
These work hard. I mean, and they're expensive, so fire departments keep them for a long time. The town I grew up in, for some reason, just got a ladder truck. Now,
do you have any really tall buildings that need an actual ladder truck?
No, we don't. But the police department got a jet ski and one of those like really tricked out SUVs too. So
did they just get a bunch of grant money and said, I don't know what to do with it, let's go get a jet ski?
It's, what it is, the cops are just like everybody else, right? All that, cops and fire departments and all that shit, it's all just look how big my dick is. The big city police have tanks and fucking, all these rescue vehicles and, the logistics vehicles and all that, mobile command posts and stuff. So the little towns, hey, look at this, I got a Ford Excursion on 40s, and like, hey, look at me. That's all it is, a ladder truck. I'm like, what building, besides maybe the junior high, which I think is still only 3 stories, what possible reason could we need, the little ass town of Charlton, Massachusetts, need a damn ladder truck for? Just to say we have it. That's all.
Well, it's like
North Canton has one, but that's because they have enough factories that are still only 2 or 3 stories tall, but they're long enough that way they can get high enough to spray the water down onto.
I get it, yeah.
But that one makes sense, you know.
Well, they just wanted to spend $2 million for no fair reason. So.
Well, the small town that I came from in Illinois, tallest building was like a 3-story tall apartment building. They went out and got a 120-foot ladder truck.
Yeah, that's what this one is, I think. It's big, whatever it is. It's a big...
With all the outriggers that stand out the side, and it becomes like a big crawling insect, which is what my wife called the one, because they had it extended like that and only had the ladder part way up. When she came around the corner, she goes, "That looks like a big bug."
It looks like one of those big rotator recovery trucks, you know, that they used to haul like semis that are stuck in the snow and shit. That's what it looks like. These big things come up the side. That whole ladder bit turns and swivels and everything. It's got about 1 billion lights on it because we have what's called Founders Day every year. Well, they do. I don't live there anymore, and they troop all their new shit up and down Main Street. And all the fat people from my town sit on the common and eat fried dough and watch. Ooh, look, you know. And so that's when I saw it, and I was like, now why in the fuck do we need this? I'm like, well, and I said to my mother was still alive at the time, and I said, well, there's your tax dollars hard at work. I don't live in this town anymore, so I'm not paying for it.
Yeah.
What I think is funny now is the trend of the fire departments getting, you know, their new trucks with so many lights on it that it'll induce an epileptic seizure.
Oh, you know what? That you mentioned that there's a town, a couple towns from me called Sturbridge. And
interesting story, Brad. Yes, it is.
Oh, that's all we do. Interesting stories.
We just talk. We get the plane. We're flying. We're good and golden, and then we just talk.
And we do this in every game we play.
Every game, whether it requires concentration or not.
It's even better if it doesn't require concentration.
That town, the cops have got these. You know how they have the white lights on the front, right, to use as spotlights or whatever, and then they have the blue lights on the back, so if they're parked on the side of the road, you can see them. These things are so bright. One time I lived, I used to live on a road in an apartment complex, and it's a 40-mile-an-hour speed limit, but people always fly up and down because it's long and straight. And the cops are like, well, that's our moneymaker, so we're going to pull everybody over on this road. Well, my girlfriend at the time, my youngest daughter's mother, and me were coming back from somewhere. It was pretty late at night, and right in front of where we live, cops had pulled somebody over, but there was 4 of them because we don't ever do anything half-assed in Massachusetts. If one cop is enough, we'll send 6. So there's 4 cops with those damn super bright lights. Do you know my girlfriend went off of the road into a ditch because she couldn't see the road?
She couldn't see. Yeah,
she couldn't see, and I couldn't see, so I didn't know we were going into a ditch till the car suddenly made a complete stop. And I'm like, what the hell happened? She's like, oh, I went off the road. I couldn't see. I'm like, all right, are you okay? Now, Ava wasn't born yet, thankfully, but like, you okay? Yep. So I got out of the car. Now, you guys know me. How do you suppose the conversation with the police went when I got up?
I'm assuming the first 40 words were swear words.
Well, I got about 4 words out before I had 4 Sturbridge police with their service revolvers pointed at my face.
I was going to say, were there tasers and handcuffs involved? Or did they just go straight for the 9mm?
Oh no, they went straight for the service revolvers, and they were like, "Sir, we're going to need you to back up." And I'm like, "I'm going to need you to call me a fucking tow truck and an ambulance, and I'm going to need your names, and I'm going to need who I'm sending this bill to fix this fucking car."
Well, see, that's a real situation with that. I keep hating the newer and newer cars coming out with the brighter and brighter LED lights, and it's like, and then the person wants to drive with their brights on, and it's like, I can't see when you have it on just the dims because I'm pretty good at seeing at night. I can walk down the street with no lights on and see where I'm going. You start putting a car that can bright up 4 miles ahead of it coming at me, I'm like, you're going to be lucky if I don't run into you because I can't see where the fuck I'm going.
You know what's funny is that, think about that now, right? Now you wonder why the AI is so crazy in ETS too. How many lights do you have on? I mean, my truck is, you know what I mean? No wonder that. Like, you never think about that. Right?
Stu's just a driving blinding sun. Yeah.
He's like following around a supernova, you know what I mean? So no wonder the AI acts so crazy.
Well, that's like, have you seen the new Dodge Chargers? I was driving home one night and ended up behind a Dodge Charger, and it's not like a regular turn signal where it just flashes. It actually looks like something from like freaking Star Trek or some shit, where it actually starts the middle of the back of the car and just kind of
back and forth.
Yeah, and tracks back and forth the way they're going. I'm like,
that's kind of cool.
Actually, the Ford Mustang did that also a while ago. They're doing that to help you direct. That's why there's also the one on the mirror, so that because just in case you happen to be up beside it and the person is driving and wants to turn in the left lane doesn't realize you're there, and they turn on the turn signal, you can see that they're coming over. That's why that's there.
Good. Then the bastards can hit me and buy me a new car.
Well, at least then you know why they're hitting you.
Well, then they'll know why I'm hitting them.
I've got a 6-watt light bulb in the front of my truck. I don't have shit like that. I don't have any of that fancy shit. Pretty soon it's gonna be a flashlight taped to the hood.
One on each corner, so that you can.
You know, it's a good thing that parts for this thing are so cheap. So, how fast is he going? Not fast enough. Let me just put it that way.
I am registering 211 with the ground speed of 308 and true airspeed of 310. I'm trying to catch Draco, who's just
all
ahead
means
of me.
Nothing. You're going 211 knots. God damn, you could walk faster.
I'm doing 210.
Yeah, you're even slower.
Yeah,
right about now, I'd be going by you going with 612 knots. See ya. But I'd be 20,000 feet ahead above. Well, no, you're fine at 235. I'd probably be at this. I'd probably be at about 30. So that much.
You'd be close enough that we would hear you come and go. Zoom.
You'd see me.
Okay. Yeah.
You'd see the contrails on a sky this clear. Absolutely, you'd see them.
Yeah, we'd be doing this. What the heck is that? Okay, he's gone.
Or if I came down to your level and just parked up next to you, hey, what's going on, MoonDog? That's a big fucking plane. Yeah, it is.
Especially if you really look at this, that thing outside is not very big. We could park that in your engine bay.
You could land this on the wing of a 747. You could. It'd fit.
Yes, we're coming in and landing from the left wing. We will be headed to the right wing, and then once we land, we will then taxi to the tail.
How far are you out? How far are you out from the airport?
Yeah, the next marker we're 139 total.
See here.
We're past halfway.
I just turned off a DBA onto CWT, so about 162 miles.
So about a half. All right. So I have time to go to the bath. I'll be right back.
Yes, you have time. Yes. I have it as 160 miles from DBA to airport.
See, I have 130 miles to CWT and then 25.6 to the airport.
Yeah, and the total distance was 587.6. So, I mean, we were halfway actually after we made the first turn.
Right.
So.
And I didn't pick up the next waypoint on my VOR, so I'm just going to heading. So I pick it up. Wrong button.
Which I should actually be on. Actually,
I should be on a heading of 105.
And then we back up to this one. What I tend to do is set this one for the next one.
No, 108.
Which is the second one, which is that one, which is 1710. Double check that real quick. And then, so how's it going there, Zig? Are you like making progress? Do you have a game and stuff going? I mean, you're not going to jump in the flight now, but...
No, it's... I got it to where it'll stop quarantining easy dock, but now I have the resolution issue.
I wonder what's causing that.
I don't know. It's weird. It's like it's stuck in 1024 by 768, and when I go into the settings, it says it's 920.
Did you try resetting all of your graphics settings to default in the game and then redoing them by hand?
They were all to default, I think. In Flight Sim, you mean?
Yeah, in Flight Sim. Not in Rex 4 or anything like that, just in Flight Sim.
Well, I changed...
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I'll answer Brady's. Brady was at, you should do formation flying with a bunch of A380s. We did formation flying with the Brazzlers. Or the C-47s.
C-47s, I believe. No, it was the Brazzlers.
Both, actually, I think.
Yeah, we've done them with both. We've gotten fairly close with those, and held speed and stuff for portion. So, A380s.
We have been
Maybe.
kicking around F-18 formation flying.
We thought about it. We haven't decided on that one yet.
That's why I said kicking it around.
We're kicking it around, deciding if we want to be like flying war jets over Africa and Iran at this point. You think that would be a good idea to fly F-18s over Iran right now?
Let's do a formation flight of F-18s over North Korea. Scare the piss out of them.
Yeah. We'll just tell them that we're doing that, and that all negotiations with the actual North Koreans will go to hell. Oh crap! The monkey show's flying here. We give in.
Great. Now you just lost all your North Korean subscribers.
And there's the sad thing. I actually have viewership from North Korea, so.
Kim Jong-il. Is it Kim Jong-il now? Or I don't know.
It might be. It sounds actually pretty close.
Little fat Twinkie boy just got pissed and unsubscribed from you.
Oh, great. He actually means the ruler of North Korea, not anyone else. Yeah.
I think it's Kim Jong-un now.
Un?
Yeah.
It's the un-communist.
He's so communist, the other communists go, whoa, easy, calm down there.
What's the matter with this guy? He's crazy. I don't know. You don't get to come into the private communist toilet anymore.
He's so crazy, even Lenin be like, whoa.
I don't know, Lenin was pretty crazy. Stalin was
not as bad as Stalin, though. Stalin was batshit.
Stalin was...
Kim Jong-un, yes,
the un-lunatic. You should do formation flying with a bunch of A380s. Why? A380s. Big French over-inflated. Never mind.
All comments stated by BP may or may not be authorized by
GP.
MoonDog and... Yeah.
Tell us what you really think about him.
I don't know.
Okay. Kim Jong-il was his father, or is...
How did we get talking about the North Koreans again?
Because we were talking about flying. He mentioned formation flying while you were gone. So we were talking that we have done the C-47 Stratocruiser formation, and we were kicking around the idea of doing F-18s. Where?
Oh God.
Well, yeah,
Why
North
would
Korea. Yeah.
Yeah. Why would you want to fly an F-18?
Because it's there.
No.
Actually, we should if we were to do it, seeing how we are the prop heads, we should do it in P-51s.
Or the F-4U Corsair.
Yeah.
No, listen to this. It's like a bunch of old men sitting around. Remember back in the days when planes had colors? And Christ, you guys come into the fucking 20th century. Will one of you please fly a jet eventually?
I did it last night while I was on Flight Hauler.
But jets are just so sterile and...
They're not, though. They're not. You just gotta get the right one.
I mean, yeah. Actually, I was looking at that 757. The one thing that I don't like is the FMS box. You can hold over the buttons, but the buttons do absolutely nothing.
Right.
So it's like,
right.
If I do, I want to get something where I have to learn that box.
It's a very limited MCDU on that thing. Yeah, it's very limited. You want something? I mean, you want to learn? Get a PMDJ. I mean, that's...
Yeah, I know.
Oh, you know what's a middle ground for that? A middle ground? The iFly stuff. Now it's very detailed. It's not quite study level, but it's pretty close, and all the systems work. And you can definitely learn. I flew a lot of hours in an iFly 747. And you can definitely learn how jets work and how the systems work and everything else with it. And they're not that expensive. And they just came out with a new update to it, and it's really good.
I'm 140 out from my last waypoint, and it's a 26-mile jog over to the airport.
Yeah, I just made a turn on 134.
26 miles to run, not jog. People jog, planes run. But.
Okay, so it's a 26 nautical mile run to the airport, and I'm 133 from that waypoint. So,
God, what are you flying at? 7, 8 knots?
if it's a problem for you, you know, you could go and come back in what, 4 or 5 hours. And
you can go. This is either go or shut up. Those are your options.
I'm actually flying at
Here, go back there and sit in them comfy leather seats. Prop your feet up on the table and shut up and watch a movie.
Mach 0.5.
Which is half the. I'm flying at half the speed of sound right now.
Right. What's the speed of sound?
Is it 7 something?
720, if I remember correctly.
Miles an hour.
Yeah.
What does that translate to knots?
690?
No.
Nope.
No. Not very damn much. Let's just put it that way. Okay. So, the speed of sound was a big deal 80 years ago. It's not so much anymore. Oh. Hell, I fly almost the speed of sound on a regular basis with that unsupersonic plane. Oh, you guys got to get. One of you guys got to get the Concorde. You want to learn shit, MoonDog. Learn to fly the Concorde, then you can teach me.
Okay.
That thing is insane.
Believe it or not,
this computer can handle it. Maybe
it could. It'll handle it.
Actually, once I get the new RAM in it, it will. And that's actually the only reason I don't have the video card, because actually the guy is doing this. Because I went up, Draco suggested a card, and I took it to him, and the suggestion to him. He goes, "You want to put that in that computer that I built for you? That computer is good, and you want to put that in it." Because it was an off-name brand.
What
was
brand?
that? What was that, Draco? The
EVGA 1050 Ti.
Did he say that EVGA was an off-brand?
He said it wasn't. He didn't like the brand because it wasn't as good as.
I'd find a new computer guy. What the fuck is the matter with him?
EVGA is just about one of the best graphics card companies there is.
They're the shit. I mean, they're.
And he goes, well,
yeah, 666.73 knots, right? Oh, it's not as big of a deal as it used to be. I fly virtual 747 pretty much, 4 times a week, and I'm regularly up in the 600 knot range. So,
okay, show off.
I have nothing stopping you from flying a 747.
Once again, a 4-engine prop plane that's like almost 70 years old.
Oh, I'm saying 300 knots is moving right along. Yeah. Oh.
You're up at 300 knots.
No, I am at 210.
Now remember, your speed Mach changes based on your altitude.
Right. So I'm according to my manual, the fastest I can go is either 302 knots or 0.58 Mach.
Right, and that'll change based on your altitude.
Right.
So that's why they did the speed of sound test at 50,000 feet, because it's easier to get to Mach at those altitudes, because the speed of sound is lower the higher the altitude you go. So it also depends on barometric pressure as well too. You want a perfect day. You want a 29.92 day to break the speed of sound. I'm pretty sure that if I had the balls to do it, and I got my 747 up to max speed and then pointed her straight down, she'd easily go supersonic on me, and then immediately fall apart.
Would that be before or after the wings ripped off?
Yeah, it's not really made for that, but.
All right, but back to what MoonDog said. Your guy said that EVGA was not a good company.
Wow,
he didn't want to put it in there, so
maybe
he didn't want.
He could be the one guy who's had a problem.
Right.
He's had,
I will say the 1050.
Well, the thing is though, is that he's wanting a card that's a decent price, and 1060s, 1070s, 1080s, they're all between $400 and $800 right now because of that Ethereum mining, and they're hard to find.
Right.
So
I'm not saying a 1050 is a bad card, but the 1050 there's a huge difference. Like a 1050 is going to be about as fast as. Well, no, my 960 would actually be faster because of the overclock. But it's not a bad card. But if you can get, I'm telling you, MoonDog, I'd hold out for 1070 because that's the range.
When I saw him today,
regular people can afford.
I told him I'm tired of waiting. I understand his point of view. If he can get to, the next day or two, that EVGA 1080 because the price and everything. And he's like, okay.
you get a
'Cause it was
1080,
like
you're gonna
170.
suddenly the superstar of the monkey show.
Well, the only thing I'm worried
No, I
about with
won't.
that 1080,
No, I won't. I'll be the second star.
the only thing I'm worried about with you getting a 1080 is that your CPU may bottleneck your 1080. Which means that your 1080 will run faster than just provide more graphics than your CPU can handle.
It's definitely going to run. It's definitely going to run faster than you. A 1080 run faster than any CPU. There's always going to be a little bottleneck. You know what I mean? But what CPU? You got an i7, didn't you?
I've got an i7, yeah.
Yeah, that'll be fine. You won't even notice it. You won't even notice it. I wouldn't put a 1080 in this. Not with a 6350. It'd slow it down too much. A 1070, I've done the research. I'll be fine with this. I don't want to get a new processor. I like my processor, but I just want a 1070 so that not have to worry about it for another 2 years.
Well, that's like my 1070. Right. I won't have to upgrade for like another 5 years probably.
That may be optimistic. I hope that's true for your sake.
Well, you figure 980s still are running everything at tops, maxed out, and they're already almost 4 years old now.
I've been thinking about getting now that the 10 series is been fully sort of established now for a couple of years. The 980s are starting to come down in price a little bit, and for the same money that I was looking at a 1070, but this was an 8 gig 1070. I could get an 11 gig 980. One of the super fucking, hey, look how big my deck is ones for about the same money. And I'm like, do I do that? Or do I go to the 10 series?
Oh, the 980 Ti. Well, the thing is, though, is that the 980 Ti, it was a power hog.
Yeah, that's fine. Listen, I have an AMD processor. I know all about power hogs.
Where the 10 series, it kind of sips the power, which is really nice.
Yeah, it's got a way lower TDP than the 9 series does. Now this is a Gigabyte G1 Gaming Extreme 960 that I have, right? So it's already, juiced up from the factory. It's got a ton of headroom, overclock wise. And I keep saying, well, I want to get a 1070. Then I'll play some game with this, and I'll be like, well, why? Are you going to play anything that's going to require more graphics than this? Not really. Not me, Like, how many frames can you get? Like Autonauts, you know what I mean? Like, geez, I'm getting 700 frames a second.
I mean, if nothing else, you could always get like another 960 and do it in 960s and SLI, because I'm pretty sure your motherboard will handle it.
Yep. You don't need to do SLI anymore. Only for the 1080s do you need the SLI, and anything under the 80 series, you don't need the SLI. You just plug them in; they work fine. So then I get a true 6 gigs, because that's what this is, a 6 gig card.
Well, I thought I'm pretty sure you still need the SLI bridge. Because
I don't think so.
Because otherwise they'll act as 2 separate graphics cards, and it won't pick up both graphics cards.
I'll have to look it up. I mean, it's not like you double up your power anyway.
Well, no, if you have 6 gigs before, you still have 6 gigs.
Right. It just gives you all of this. You know what I mean?
Right.
You get all of it because it is using both cards. So.
All right, I'll be back in 1 second.
Oh, good. That's what you want to get. Captain, get out of the freaking chair while he's. Yeah, I don't know. But just at some point, I love this computer. It's pretty badass, and I like it. I'm not in a rush to upgrade it. Just for, because I know the games are coming. The problem is as long as they're going to keep making these super powerful graphics cards, game developers are going to take advantage of it. So it's going to come to where you're not, none of us are going to have enough graphics power. So, I mean, Project Cars 2, which I'm really looking forward to, it's got a ridiculous recommended spec. Even a minimum, they just dialed the minimum spec down, but the recommended spec is a 1080. So, what does that tell you? That tells you BP won't be playing it. Although, I gotta say, the recommended spec for Project Cars normally was well beyond what the Abacus had, and the Abacus didn't have any trouble running it. So,
the hell, probably in like the next 10, 15 years, there's going to be like the GTX 3000, and it's going to have
1280,
and it's going to be like a 5 gigahertz clock speed. And be able to run.
They're not that far off that now.
No, the 1080 Ti's are running at like I think they're like 2.3, 2.4 gigahertz.
Yeah.
which is like half of what my 7600 i7 runs.
Sure, but look at how fast they process. Look at the cache speed on these things. You know what I mean? We're talking thousands of gigabytes a second. That's how fast graphics cards are. They are unbelievably fast. That's why people use graphics cards for regular, computational computers, because they're so fast. They're ridiculously fast. My 960 base clock is 1960 something, right? It will turbo itself up to just about 2000. I can still clock this up, and I've tried it, up to about 2500. Holy shit.
Well, my 1070 out of the box will boost itself to 1999.
Right.
And that's doing, and I checked that on Heaven Benchmark, which is a free benchmark thing that you can do.
Yep. Well, your 1070 is 100% faster than my 960. The 10 series, the 1060 is 50% faster than the 960. And the 1080 is 500% faster than all of them. I mean, how much more percent faster can we be? You know what I mean? At what point do we start going backwards? Because we're going so fast. I'm going to put a graphics card on my computer, and it's suddenly going to be 1947.
Well, my 1070, they said, is the equivalent to the previous version's Titan.
Yeah.
Well, you don't have to worry about speed until you hit plaid. After that, then you got to.
I'm saying these fucking things are so fast. I'm seriously afraid. I'm going to plug in a graphics card one day, and I'm going to suddenly go back in time. I son of a bitch. Which has happened. Oh.
And you go back so far back in time, they won't have power, and you can't get back.
And I can't get back.
You'll be back in time, and you'll have to save Kirk's girlfriend from Hitler's SS squad or something like that.
Whoa, that's an old one. Isn't that? That's original Star Trek.
Yeah, that was
original.
But that wasn't them going back into. Oh, yes, it was.
Was that them going back in time, or was that them finding the planet where they modeled themselves?
No, I know the one that you're talking about. That was the portal of whatever.
That was a portal that
something of yesterday, wasn't it called? The title of that episode was something yesterday.
Yeah, you're right.
McCoy ran through it, right? Because he was all fucked up.
He was messed up and delusional or something, ran through, and they had to jump to the correct time, and they were off a day or two or something like that.
Yeah.
Wait, was that the one where it turns out that the set that they hopped onto, the set that they used for that was the same set that they filmed the Andy Griffith show on?
The Main Street part. The Main Street part was Mayberry, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't recognize that.
The one where Spock has the dark wool cap over his on his head over his ears.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can't remember what it was called. And something yesterday was the title of the episode. That was a good one. I like that one. I like the ones where they either went back in time or they got when they got stuck when they went to that planet and everybody went through because the planet was dying and they were shipping people off to different times in the planet's history. And what's her face was in it? Is that Jane Fonda? No, not Jane Fonda. What the hell was her? She was the one in the cave back in the Ice Age that Spock fell in love with her, and McCoy was all like pissed off. And
actually, I don't remember that one. I'll have to watch that one. I like the one where they got trapped with the sun. They ricocheted backwards and ended up back in the '60s, and the jet pilot came up to investigate. And yeah. My wife actually just did one of those Facebook name the Star Trek characters. She goes, "Oh, this is no problem." She said, and then like on the third one, she goes, "Well, who's that?" I'm like, it was Kor, which was the original Klingon that they met.
Yep.
And,
the Klingons were so awful in the original.
Oh god, yeah, they were just black faces.
They were just jokes. They were just They were Cesar Romero's Jokers, you know what I mean? But they weren't that cool.
Yeah.
Of course, the best going back in time, the absolute best going back in time Star Trek of all time, The Voyage Home. Just fantastic. That was so good. They were all so smooth and cool in that. Kirk was just they let William Shatner be a comedian in that one because that's what he is. You know, Sulu was cool. Everybody was cool. Spock was even cool. You know,
Gracie knows.
Yeah, that's right. How do you know she's pregnant? Nobody knows that. Gracie
knows.
You know those colorful metaphors? Maybe you shouldn't use those.
Use them. Yeah.
Well, and you know, and a lot of people disagree with me, but a lot of people agree, also do agree with me. That movie there kind of set up the premise for the Borg in the Next Generation.
It did. It did. People don't realize that. That was J.J. Abrams was actually watching that movie at, I don't know, 15 years old or whatever, and said, if we've already been there, and this has already happened, then what if we did this? And that's how it all started. And the next best going back in time Star Trek was First Contact. How cool was Zefram Cochrane? Now, if you have to be a real Star Trek nerd to know some of the stuff, because that a lot of it was written in the books, the Star Trek books. But everybody thought Zefram Cochrane, because he was a creator of Warp Drive, he was this cool, you know, this very like Brady Einstein kind of guy, right? Turns out to be just this huge asshole drunk. It was fucking awesome. I love that movie.
I want money.
It was that was the best movie, you know, because Data had his emotion chip in, and you know, and that was, I love that movie. That's my favorite Star Trek Next Generation.
But Star Trek, was it Timelines or something? I can't remember the name of it. The one where it had Kirk and Picard both in it, and they were caught in like that.
Oh, Generations.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Anyway, and when the Enterprise D gets destroyed by that Klingon bird of prey, and the last words out of Data's mouth before they crashed were "Oh shit."
Oh shit. Yep. Yeah. Well, you know what's funny is that they had swore up and down. They had swore when they made the first Star Trek Next Generation movie, they were not, because it's a running joke with Paramount and with, you know, with all the guys from Star Trek, that they blow up the Enterprise in every movie, right? So they swore, we are not going to blow up the Enterprise. We like this Enterprise, blah, blah, blah. Of course. That was immediately, we knew they were going to blow up the Enterprise so they could make a better one for the next movie. That's like, there you go. There she is. Oh, there she is sliding into the ground, you know, becoming a big pile of slag.
There's plenty more letters in the alphabet.
There's plenty of more letters in the alphabet, right. You know what's cool is they had to do that because they had already brought in McCoy. They'd already brought in Scott. So they had to bring in Kirk somehow. And Kirk didn't want to be the 90-year-old guy that just toured the Enterprise. He didn't want to be that. So
and the first one was McCoy in one of the first, was it the second episode? They were settling him.
It was the mission to Starpoint, the Farpoint.
Farpoint Station was the very first. Yeah, it was the
so
pilot.
It was the first. Yeah.
It was McCoy was the very first episode. Yep. And then, well, no, actually, Scotty came after the movie, didn't he?
Yeah, Scotty was actually found on his wrecked ship on a Dyson sphere.
Right. On the Dyson sphere, but that was after Generations.
It was.
Yeah. So they did McCoy, and then they did Kirk with the movie, and then they did Scotty. And they didn't do anybody else after that.
No, Spock.
Yeah, but Spock. No, but not. Oh, yeah, they did.
Well,
sorry.
They didn't do Spock. Yeah.
They didn't have Sulu, but they had what was supposed to be Sulu's daughter.
Right.
In Generations.
Did he die? Didn't they say he died?
I don't know if they ever said what happened to him in the movie, because
I seem to remember that. I don't know. I'd have to watch it again. Good thing they're all on Amazon Prime. But I don't remember. I thought they said he died, or he had a disease or something. I thought he caught a disease, and he was incapacitated or something. I don't know.
I don't recall. I mean, the last thing you saw was his ship wishing Kirk's ship in 6, fair sailing and all that stuff.
Yeah, and because he was captain of the Excalibur.
Yeah. The Excelsior.
Excelsior?
The Excelsior. The transwarp one, yeah.
Okay.
Remember that one when Scotty took the guts out of it, so the transwarp drive didn't work anymore?
Doesn't matter how complicated they make them.
I don't remember the rest of the line, but yeah.
Yeah. The easier it is to make them malfunction or take them apart, something like that.
Something Scotty clever, he said. Those are, the new Star Treks. I get it. They're trying to market Star Trek to a younger audience, and with a whole different timeline and everything. But
so funny thing, James Doohan was an actual real life Army badass during World War II.
Was he?
He was shot. Yeah. He was shot 6 times in Normandy. Last time he lost part of his thumb, and he took a bullet to a cigarette case that he had in his shirt pocket.
Oh.
or that one would have ended him. Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah, he was a real life. He was a real life Canadian, and he was also Canadian. He wasn't even Scottish.
Right. He is Scottish, but he's from Canada.
Okay. Yeah.
I do know that he was in Bonanza. A whole bunch of times, actually. I know that. He did a lot of westerns, but everybody did westerns back then, you know.
Yeah, McCoy was a big-time western star.
Yeah, DeForest Kelley was in a lot of westerns.
Singer too, wasn't he?
Yes, he did sing. He had an album. It's called, I think it was actually called, it was probably one of those 60s names, like DeForest Kelley sings your classics or your favorites or whatever.
Yeah.
But he was great in Final Frontier when he got...
The real drop. What? This is what's up. We're talking about Star Trek.
Well, one of the things that a lot of people don't realize is, so do you remember in Star Trek: The Next Generation when the battle at Wolf 359, where the fleet intercepts the Borg cube and is destroyed?
Yes.
One of the ships that was destroyed was called the DeForest Kelley.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you know what? That's they snuck a lot of that in. If you look, anytime there was a fleet buildup, and if you look really closely, you can see, like, especially if they're looking at a tactical view of the ships and they show the names and the little tags above them. There's ones called, there's a Gene Roddenberry out there, the USS Roddenberry. There's what was the other one? Oh, the USS Freedom. Yeah. Which is named for Uhura because that's what her name means. That's a thing they've always done, which is really cool. There's also one out there called the Walter W. Disney, or the Walter something Disney, which is in Star Trek Enterprise somewhere. I think she's a supply ship, if I remember correctly. They showed it real quick one time, they were coming into space dock and it was going by. So, and what's his face, the engineer, Trap or Tip or whatever the name was looking at it, and he kind of did the eyebrow thing. I hated that show. I couldn't stand Scott. Whose idea was that?
Someone thought it was a good idea.
You can't be Jonathan Archer.
Yeah.
You know why you can't be Jonathan Archer? Because you're not fucking English. That's why. Jonathan Archer was English. Wow. Welcome to the holy shit, did this just get nerdy stream?
Well, the real drop was saying that the Star Trek movies can't stand up to the TV shows.
Oh, see?
Yes and no. It's a debate.
Depends on the movie. If you're talking about the original series movies, they were better than the original series TV show.
Oh, listen, if you like, I'm the biggest Star Trek fan in the world. Star Trek the Motion Picture was the most boring fucking movie
I don't know.
made.
I don't know. I really liked it.
I did this. I counted from when they encountered V'ger
it's
till the time they got inside.
Minutes. Yeah, we
know.
know.
Do you know how many times Scotty or McCoy went on and off the bridge? 13 times he went through that door.
Right, because he kept having to go off the set to have a cigarette. Because it took so long to film.
He was on and off and on and off. You just saw him walking. Because what else were they supposed to do? Oh, you're watching the ship. It's big and huge. Okay.
You know what's fucked up about that is if you got when that came out, it was on VCR tape, right? So you'd get it on VCR tape, and then you'd go buy the special extended version, which was 12 and a half more minutes of them flying through V'ger. Oh, you've got to be kidding me.
But in all fairness, though, if that movie had not been made, the Star Trek as we know it probably wouldn't exist.
That would have been it. That would have been the end of it.
That movie saved the franchise.
That would have been the end of it. Well, here's the thing. Paramount has always had a contract with the creators of Star Trek, with Roddenberry and the guys, for 7 years. Every Star Trek show is supposed to last 7 years. Now, NBC boned them on the original one, and they didn't get 7 years. They did get 7 years from The Next Generation. They would have gotten 7 years. They got 7 years from Voyager. How they managed to stretch that stupid shit out for 7 years, I don't know, but they did. They got 7 years out of Deep Space Nine, which was another horrible show, except for the last 7 episodes in the Dominion War part. They wouldn't get 7 years out of Enterprise because everybody was like, please make this go away, it hurts. So... the last good Star Trek, and Star Trek Voyager was good after about the first couple of seasons. It got better when the Doctor they really started to develop the characters in 7 of 9.
I would say they also brought Jerry Ryan on and got rid of the crazy one that was on there.
Cass was interesting. That what's his face? The
Neelix.
Neelix, yeah, he was fairly interesting. I was always a fan of the Doctor. I thought the Doctor was great. You know, I thought
Doctor.
Well, the
after a while,
Doctor-
he carried. the
he really
series.
did. He really did carry the series towards the end.
Well, the Doctor, I liked seeing how he progressed from being just, you know,
A hologram
to being a person.
I thought it was cool when they built all the holographic repeaters in the hallway so he could get out of the sick bay and walk around the ship.
And how was it the Prometheus? They ended up going back in time with the Prometheus.
The Prometheus, yeah.
And ended up getting the hollow emitter, the mobile hollow emitter for him.
Yeah. So you could go on the ship, so you could go on away missions. And stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
The saddest.
If you actually start and watch it, that was all done before a couple of the Generations movie, and then he ended up being on the emergency hologram on
He was the emergency
the Enterprise.
Yep, he was the
Yeah.
emergency hologram. Yep.
So
The saddest episode of that show was when Cass died, and we knew she was going to die. She was only going to live 9 years.
Well,
That was her.
she didn't exactly die. She just kind of
Well, she
evolved.
Right, but Neelix is, you know, and you get so used to her. You know, you get so used to a character, you sort of, you know, you take ownership of them, and then all of a sudden they're not there anymore. And you're like, wait a minute, where's Cass going?
I don't know. The one that, you know, the one character I kind of felt bad about leaving was when Neelix stayed on that asteroid when he found the rest of his people.
Yeah. When he found the rest of the furry weirdos, yeah. Oh, Neelix was all right though. Neelix. They needed Neelix on the show because that show could have been there. Because Janeway, whatever her real name is, she was not fun. Yeah. She was not funny. She was not clever. She wasn't, you know. Not that Patrick Stewart was particularly fun, but he was a great actor. So, and Catherine Janeway was stiff as fuck in the beginning. She was miserable. I couldn't stand to watch her.
Well, Patrick Stewart brought a little bit of class to where people were used to the cowboy.
Yeah.
You know, the cowboy persona of Kirk.
Star Trek was a science fiction western. They didn't know how else to make it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then you get Sir Patrick Stewart, who was a Shakespearean actor. You know, I hated it. The Encounter at Farpoint. I was like, I will never watch this show.
The Encounter at Farpoint was probably the worst episode of Star Trek Next Generation. But I do like how it introduced Q and how Q.
Now Q is what made me say, because I was about halfway through that episode, and I'm like, this is just awful. The uniforms are horrible. Who's this Greek chick? What is this guy? What's with the kid? What? Patrick Stewart is horrible. What's going on? What have they done to my show? And then Q comes along, and I'm like, oh, now wait a minute. This guy, I like whatever his name is, John Delancey or whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I like this guy, and he's cool, and let's watch him. And they made him way cooler as the show progressed.
And they could not have picked a better actor for Q.
Oh, he was perfect.
I cannot picture anybody else ever being Q.
But you know who played a good? Corbin Burnson played a good Q too, though. Remember?
Yeah, he did.
When Q lost all his powers and the other Q had to come and get him, he played a good Q because he was just as much of a smart ass as the original Q was. So I thought that was cool. Who was the original Q, everybody? Does anybody know who the original Q was? Come on, think back to the original series. That episode where Kirk ends up on the planet and what's his face wants to keep him as a pet. Oh, you never let me have anything.
Was it Ron Howard's little brother?
No.
It was
the creepy little kid.
No, it was the one that was the kid, the impotent kid. Yeah, I know the episode, but I can't think of the.
He was the original Q. He was a Q.
Yeah.
They never said it, but he was a Q. That's what he was.
But wasn't he played by Ron Howard's little brother?
No, he was played by some old man.
No.
He was a famous actor, the guy who played him, and I can't think of his name, but he was the original Q. They never said it, but as soon as, and of course we wouldn't have known back then watching, but as soon as they introduced Q, I'm like, wait a minute, that other guy. In the original episode, he was a Q too. Yeah. Oh, you never let me have anything fun.
Yeah, because he had infinite power over everything.
Yep. And put your toys away and come home now. I don't want to.
Yeah.
Now, my two favorite episodes of the original series, so one was Tholian Web.
Yeah, that was a good one.
And the other one was, and I mentioned it before, where they end up on that planet where they recreated the German society.
Yes.
And I remember because it caused a big uproar, hearing about it causing a big uproar because Spock said that he kind of admired that. and everybody was freaking out, and he had to explain that the reason why is because, you know, Germany was this basically impotent country that became the biggest global threat, you know, in the world at that time.
Well, and also let's remember that Leonard Nimoy was Jewish, so for him to say that was like, well, wait a minute. My favorite. I don't know that I have a favorite. I know I have a favorite Next Generation episode. And that's the one where Picard gets kidnapped by the
best of both worlds. Oh, mine's the best of both worlds. The Borg.
Which one is that? Which Borg is that? The one where they?
It's the two-parter where he gets kidnapped by the Borg and gets turned into Locutus.
Oh, right, the cliffhanger, the fourth season cliffhanger or whatever. Yeah, that's a good one too. But man, you can't. I'm saying that one where he gets kidnapped by the Cardassians. There are 5 flights.
Yeah,
he acted the shit out of that. He was so good at. That's when I realized how good an actor Patrick Stewart was. He was, and when they went with Spock with what was it called, Reconciliation or whatever. That was a 2-parter too. When they went to Romulus.
Yeah. Romulus, and they actually came across.
Denise Crosby, where she was playing.
Romulan, when she was Romulan,
playing her own daughter.
Yeah.
Which was that was a mind fuck, right? You're like, well, wait a minute.
Yeah.
But and the only reason why is
because go back in time. When did that happen? And then they showed it, you know, however many episodes later. It's like, oh, that's how that happened. Oh, that was cool. That was fantastic.
Well, my favorite line from that story though was one of the Klingons was taking him into Romulan space, and they were talking to Data, and Data said something, and he goes, "You better be careful, or some little Romulan thing will lick that paint right off your skin." And I'm like,
some Romulan beauty will lick the paint right off your ears. Klingons got so much better in the Next Generation. They became actual human beings. Worf was always way too much. Worf needed to pull that stick out of his ass occasionally, but his brother was fantastic.
Yeah.
Just drunk and loud and just Klingon. You know, he smelled like a Klingon. You know what I mean? Kern was the best. He made the best faces, but even better than him was the guy who played the fuck was his name? When the whole Civil War was going on. Not the bad Klingon. Not the Duras. The other one.
Not Duras. Not the heavy-set great
Duras
guy.
We didn't. Nobody liked that. But
you're talking about the guy with the bug eyes.
Yes, he made the best faces. Oh, what the hell was his name? He ended up becoming the leader of the Klingon Council. What the fuck was his name? I can't remember his name.
Duras, and it's right on the tip of my tongue.
Yeah, mine too. Fuck, Duras was a prick, and his son was a prick. And but his sisters, they were all right. They were cool.
Yeah.
So, like when they kidnapped Worf, and Worf's just like, get away from me. How about Worf's wife? Or Worf's girlfriend, Alexander's mother. Ooh, she was
Yeah, she
for a Klingon.
She was a lousy actor. Of course, she had a rough role because she was trying to play half Klingon, half human, which nobody had ever done before, so that she's just kind of winging it. And Alexander, I mean, God, could you please put that kid in the incinerator or in the that fucking kid.
He was just annoying from the first episode. Alexander, you want to see this pet? Yeah. I don't want to do nothing else.
He wasn't even a Klingon. Like, I get it, he was half human and half Klingon too, I understand that, but damn.
Well, he wasn't even half human, he was only like a third human.
Well, no, his mother was half human, and Worf is fully Klingon, so that would make him what? 3/4 Klingon?
Or a quarter Klingon,
A quarter Klingon. But still, remember the episode where he came back in time as himself to stop himself from being such a little pussy? And Worf almost killed him by accident. It was like, when you have to write that story because you know that the character you've created is just miserable, then maybe you should have just let this kid stay with the Risenkos. Why did you bring him back to the Enterprise? Wesley, when they brought him back after he had that whole thing at the Academy where he got in that accident and did things he wasn't supposed to do and lied about it and everything.
Yeah.
All right, Wesley, go away now. Nobody's interested.
Well, what I think's funny though is that one of the ones that was in on the accident and everything was the same one that in Enterprise played Tom Paris.
Tom Paris, yeah. No,
I had a friend of mine.
The Voyager. Deep Space. What the fuck was that show called?
Enterprise.
Voyager.
Voyager.
I had a friend of mine that kept complaining about the fact that they were using actors for different characters Like you had Tom Paris. He can't do that because he's that.
Why not?
You know how many times? Freaking Nurse
Chapel.
Chapel.
Chapel was everything. She was everything.
Everything. She was the original number one.
She was the original number one. Yep.
She was Nurse Chapel. She was the voice of all the computers. She was everything.
No,
Why? Because she was Gene Roddenberry's favorite girl.
And she also played Deanna's mother.
Rachel Barrett, the best character ever in any Star Trek ever was Swana Troy.
Well,
and then
I remember
with the wedding that she had.
The wedding.
Well, of course, all Bajorans for their wedding are naked.
Well, I remember when I remember when I was first introduced to her in Star Trek Next Generation, because I didn't know that was the same person because she had aged quite a bit from then to there. Yeah. But I remember sitting there and I'm like, she's old enough to be my grandmother, but she still looks pretty damn good sitting in that mud.
She'd come on the ship with them dresses and Mr. Hom and just be like, damn, there's my girl. That's what I'd always say. There's my girl. She's way better looking than Deanna Troy. It's like, where did you come from? I love when she used to talk to her in her head, call her little one and stuff. That's how I come and call my English daughter little one because of that.
Well, do you remember when the Ferengi kidnapped her?
Yeah.
And and they just kept begging her to rub their ears and.
And Patrick Stewart. Remember Patrick Stewart said to Bill Franks, he's like, do we have to try to get her back?
and she never really had any interest in him. She just liked to screw with him.
She liked to screw with him, right? And then I was so glad when they made her a person finally too. When they made her stop being quite so much of a comic strip. When David Ogden Stiers was on and he was the guy that he was getting to a certain age and everybody on his planet died at that age so they didn't get sick or whatever, and she'd fallen in love with him.
And if they didn't die, they had to commit suicide.
Yeah, they had to go to this place and be killed basically, and she lost it. Like that's one of my all-time favorite Star Trek episodes. Anytime the characters got human was my favorite. Like Picard when he was Locutus, Picard when he went home, and he met up with his brother and they had that big fight, in the mud, and he was crying and all that. Or when he was kidnapped by the Kardashians, that was the Kardashians. Yeah,
that's the second time. I didn't realize it the first time. Yeah.
Kylie Jenner kidnapped Patrick Stewart. Oh my God!
But the one thing I've always tried to figure out: so Jean-Luc Picard, he lived in France. He had a French name, yet it was Patrick Stewart, so he had an English accent.
Okay, so you're overthinking that. It's the same way Sean Connery can be a Russian sub-captain and have a Scottish accent. Okay? Or Sean Connery can be anything and have a Scottish accent.
True.
You got to realize that it's at the time of, especially if you need the nerdy explanation, the time of Star Trek, it was all one world. So it's a very good chance that while he lived in France and England, they're only a couple miles apart, right? So, you know what I mean? He's probably went to school in England and he went to the academy, and that's, whatever. It's the same reason, like I said, that Sean Connery can play a Russian sub-captain, sound nothing like a captain, but pull it off. Be careful at what you shoot at. Some things in here don't react well to bullets. I just watched that the other day. One of my favorite. It's one of my favorite movies until Alan Baldwin shows up, and then I don't like it anymore. Or Alec Baldwin. The worst Jack Ryan of all time. Harrison Ford was the best Jack Ryan.
But I think my favorite Spock / Leonard Nimoy saying always was, when he stopped the warp core from breaching, and he said the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few.
Right. And if you didn't cry right then, you're lying.
You have no soul.
You were crying. I know I was crying. Like, Spock can't die. What the fuck?
And then
How does Spock die?
And then when they realized, when somehow he, through the Genesis project on that planet that moon, he came back to life, but he was just a child.
Do you know that was written before? The next bit was written before they ever wrote that movie. So they knew exactly what they were doing. If you watch the end of that movie and you watch, who launched them? Chekhov launched them, right? Launched the tube. You can see it in Chekhov's face. He altered the trajectory of that on purpose so that it would soft land on the planet, knowing that hoping that the Genesis effect would bring him back to life. That was all part of it. They knew that was going to come. So when they found him, it was like, well, that's not much of a surprise now, is it? I was thrilled. I was like, yes, you know.
What about Uhura and doing her dance?
Oh, her dance in Final Frontier up in the sand.
Yeah.
Listen, whatever her name is, Nichelle Nichols, she was hot as fuck. I don't care if she's 60 years old. She was all right up there dancing with just the fans. Go get some, girl. You know, she was awesome.
We're flying into HECA, right?
That's what you wrote.
I'm already on the ground.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm on the ground, park, engine shut off.
Hey, Tate Dugan, what's up? I'm just waiting for MoonDog to land, and then I'm going. Hurry up.
Okay, I'm sorry, working on it.
What's the... See, I had a thought now. I forgot what it was. Shit, I can't remember. Whatever. It'll come to me at some random time. Yeah, there's so many great Star Trek movies. Star Trek moments, you know. Even in movies that weren't great, there were still good moments. Like Sarek when he came to Jim Kirk and said, "Why'd you leave my son behind?" You know, and Sarek was great. I always loved Mark. What's the guy? Mark Leonard was his name, I think, right? He was fantastic.
Or when he knew that he had that degenerative disease, so he mind melded with Picard.
Picard, yeah. But he was so good in that, to act that out, to act that whole, like, losing after so many years of being, you know, Sarek and being the ultimate sort of...
I mean, it was
logic.
It was basically the Vulcan version of Alzheimer's.
Yeah, it was right. And just think, after so many years of repressing all your emotions, you know, and then having them all come out at once. And how about at the end when Patrick Stewart was sitting in the chair with Dr. whatever her name was, and he's, you know, doing the thing and he's shaking and he's crying. It makes you realize what a great actor Patrick Stewart was too. Anytime those characters got human, I got real interested. My favorite, what's the redheaded doctor's name? I can't think of her name. Anyway,
Crusher.
She was hot too, yeah. But when she went back to the colony, to the Scottish colony, and met the ghost that had been falling in love with members of her family for 600 years, like, that was cool too. You know, anytime those characters got human. Like Data, when Data got his head cut off, and then when he got his emotion chip, when he met Lore for the first time, when Lore fucked him for the first time, when Lore fucked him for the second time. You know, Lore was fun. So, yeah, I'm glad they finally got rid of him, but he was cool for a while.
Or what about the irony of Geordi LaForge, a blind man, trying to teach a android how to paint?
How to paint, right. Right. What was Data's daughter's name? Fuck. That was a sad one too.
Not Lilu.
Lilu was the thing from The Fifth Element.
Yeah, no, I know. It was Leah.
No, she picked her own name. What the hell did she pick? I can't. Oh shit! It was someone in L, wasn't it? Or are we just transposing that from Lore?
No, it was something with...
Anybody in chat know? You want to help us out here?
But anyway, pull out your book that you have with all the notes in it. And
wow, when you're this nerdy, it hurts. What's the... Oh, shit.
LOL. LAL.
LOL.
That was it, LOL. Yep. But it was sad. It was so sad.
Did someone just Google that?
I did.
No. You did? Okay.
Because I knew it was L. I knew it was L something. I just couldn't remember what it was.
It was so sad at the end when she was breaking down and she was dying, and she's like, "Father," you know. I'm just like, "Oh, not another Star Trek." How many Star Trek episodes are gonna make me cry? You know, like, here's another one. Add that one to the list. That was fantastic.
Okay.
That was Star Trek.
Or what?
Go ahead.
What about the one where the boy's mother was killed on the planet by an ancient booby trap? And Worf was leading the away mission.
Oh, and he became all obsessed with... Wasn't that Data?
No.
Oh, they did that twice, right?
They did that twice.
Once with Data and once with Worf.
Yeah, but Worf was trying to figure out how to make amends for it.
Yeah.
And the alien, there was like an alien or something that actually came in and convinced... It took the shape of the boy's mother.
Right. and he was convinced his mother had come back, and Worf had to come and get come and get the kid and tell the alien to go away and all that. But they did that same thing again with Data.
Yeah, they did it with Data, where the boy was emulating Data.
Yeah, that little kid became obsessed with Data, and then they did it again with Riker with that kid on the planet.
Yeah.
Well, they also did it. They also did it with Data when a very young, young Nikki Cox played the alien of the planet that was destroying itself.
Pen pals. Yep. That was an early episode, but yep.
Yeah.
Yep. They had a lot of that. They had a lot of that sort of, they wanted it because they wanted to get kids. They want to get more kids involved in the show. So Alexander and Wesley was at least interesting. Alexander was in the ass.
It went to the extreme when they had it. Was it Picard and the one where they backed them in age? They made them kids.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, it was Picard
and
Guinan and Ro. Ro was another one that fucked off. I hated her.
What about the episode Evolution, where they get back to the ship and everybody has devolved into whatever, and I think
Worf turned into that like spider thing or whatever.
And Deanna was some type of frog.
Yeah. No, she was a lizard.
Well, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was an interesting one. Or that one where they found that probe and there's two. They found a probe. One, the best one was when he went back. He became that guy.
All the memories of the guy, with the flute.
Yeah, with the flute.
That was great.
That flute is still in existence. It never plays, but it's been auctioned off for decent money, if I remember right.
Yeah, it's bounced.
Everyone wants to have that flute.
That's a fantastic episode. That's such a good episode. He was so good in that.
Or what about the episode? Because we all know that Picard was not a fan of kids.
No. Or the one we got trapped in the elevator?
When he got trapped in the turbo lift with the 3 kids. It was during Captain's Appreciation Day or something like that.
Yeah, he was supposed to be giving the kids a tour of the ship. And, that's why they did that. Because they said, okay, we got to make this guy a little bit, not quite so much of a standoffish prick. So, not that I ever thought he was. He's the captain of the ship. He doesn't have to mess with kids. That's what he's at number 1 for.
Yeah.
That was Will Riker's sole job.
That's Counselor Troy's job, really, on there. I mean, what else is she supposed to do up on that bridge? Well, I understand that she was good for the premises, the looks, and helping the story along.
Sit there and look mildly hot.
Well, that was the reason why why she was no longer just a counselor. In later episodes, she became a commander.
She became a commander, right? They gave her. They made her go to. They made her go to bridge training and officer training and all that because she held the rank of commander. Just like a doctor would hold the rank of commander,
right?
But she wasn't actually on the command crew. But later, she started wearing a uniform. They made her grow up a little bit, which was good. I was all for that too. Like I said, anytime they enhanced characters,
they took the dresses off of her, put her in the skin tight uniform,
which is okay. I can live with that.
But do you remember the episode where she had to take command of the battle bridge when the
yeah.
Do you remember the episode where Beverly Crusher took command of the Enterprise because the warp bubble was shrinking around the ship and she didn't realize that it was her? She thought everybody was disappearing, but what was happening was the warp bubble was shrinking around the ship, so the space was getting smaller around her.
Or what about the one where they come back and and there's a Romulan warbird and the Enterprise frozen in time?
Oh yeah, when it's getting shot.
And it turns out the aliens had built like a nest or something in the artificial black hole that powered the Romulan warbird.
Yeah.
The one that I sort of liked the most was the one where they had to get the other ship, the Phoenix, that had the experimental cloaking device.
Yeah, Riker's old ship.
Riker's old ship and his old commander.
You know was it the Pegasus?
Of it.
The Pegasus.
Oh, Pegasus, yeah.
When they went, it was warped halfway into the asteroid.
Asteroid, and the Romulans were looking for it, and then Picard did we found it. Here it is. We've got it, and popped right in front of them with it.
Yeah. Who played? The guy that played Riker's old captain was a prick.
He was.
Oh yeah.
And remember the guy? Remember when Picard, when they went on that mission, and Ronnie Cox became the captain of the Enterprise? I hate Ronnie Cox. He's such a shitty actor.
Well, that was.
And I'm like, why are you?
That was the same episode where Picard gets kidnapped by the Cardassians.
Yes, because they went on the mission and he got caught. But it was like Ronnie Cox is, and of course they must have wrote him that way on purpose. Obviously, he kept fighting with Riker and ended up relieving him, and then the other one when who became the captain when he got kidnapped by the Borg? Wasn't that Ronnie Cox too?
No, Riker became captain, and
no, there was somebody else in the. Oh no,
Commander Shelby took over.
Yeah,
Shelby.
Pain in the ass too. Yeah.
How do you guys even remember all that stuff?
I've seen
it hurts, don't it? It hurts to be in this room right now. Zig's just sitting over there going, I never did cocaine before, but yeah, I'm going to start. Oh.
Because we've probably all have seen every episode of Star Trek more times than we can count.
No matter what else I am, Zig, I am at heart a massive nerd.
Yep. And I will own that.
Be glad we haven't started talking about Lord of the Rings and all the esoteric little bits about that. I know, there's, trust me.
Oh, good. We can go there too.
My nerdiness knows no end.
I just can't remember that much stuff.
You know what it is? It's because whenever a show touches you, right? It touched me.
Yeah.
Should I call the police? No. Whenever a show gets into your head like that, I think that's when you remember it. You know what I mean? Next Generation has been on for 20-something years. We all still remember every bit of it because it was important to us. You know what I mean? It was a big deal to us. So,
well, you know what? My brain doesn't work that way because I have never been able to remember like movie quotes and stuff like that, details about stuff like that.
I speak in movie quotes. Everything I say is a movie quote. It's like,
I guess I remember a different kind of useless information. I guess.
Well, hey, everybody has their own, stuff piled up in their brain. So.
Well, for me, it was, not to go into details, but I had a really bad childhood. So watching that made me think, things will get better in the future. So that's what I always watched. And that's why I remember it all. And even to this day, I still watch them just because, they're fun.
Jesus, MoonDog. During all this, I almost missed your damn landing. You're coming in. You're at 2,500 feet already.
Yeah.
You may want to get lined up on this ILS, though.
Put your gear down.
I was the wrong
Put your gear down.
I got to slow up still yet.
Want to separate? Do you need to separate the ship?
Christ, I can't even find your plane.
He's about 30 degrees right of the ILS.
Well, I'm looking for it in air traffic.
Yeah.
All right, guys, I got to shut it down. I got to get up here for too long.
All right, Zig.
Good
talking to you. Good, or probably, good talking at you since you didn't say much. Not that you could.
He was just like, oh, shut up. Oh, I can't believe you won't shut up.
Because that became a massive nerd orgy at the end there. I hope we didn't get any on you.
I wiped it off. It was all right.
Yeah. It's okay. It just smells
that's all right. We'll pass on to BP here, the nice little video that your wife made for us.
Oh, yeah.
Zig's like, you guys are fucking weird. I knew you were weird before. Christ.
All right.
Yeah, I'll see you guys on. I'll be on probably not till Saturday, but.
All right.
See you Saturday.
Take it easy. Have a good week.
At some point I'll land. I just want to drag this out because it's been, if nothing else, it's been an interesting conversation.
Yeah.
I hope
we haven't gotten to Lord of the Rings yet, so we got plenty to deal with that. And we haven't even gotten to.
Probably won't get to that tonight. I mean, I don't want to use it all up because then I won't have anything to talk about myself.
I hope I'm watching you. I'm not sure if
that's
the right plane.
Fuck did I talk about during my stream? Oh, we ended up talking about Farm Sim, of course, because I was playing ETS2. So, of course, we talked about Farm Sim the entire time.
Are you kind of doing like a slow
Why is it looping all the way back around? Come on.
Oh, look, there's the pyramids.
It's a 747-400 in front of you. It's trying to get lined up on the ILS. But...
Yeah, I was trying to get it lined up correctly, and it's just...
Hold on, let me zoom this screen in so I can see what's going on.
I'm just
I just
processing.
Tried to scroll in.
See? It feels terrible, doesn't it?
Do you see... you should be circling over the pyramids if you're the plane I'm watching.
No, it's trying to track on the waypoint that's not there. I've got it now. I think.
I don't understand how your GPS works. What runway are you trying to land on? 9 right?
I'll be right
Is that
back.
9 right?
Five left.
Oh, 5 left. Oh, because you're pointing the
Yeah.
right way, so I was extrapolating compass position. But all right.
Yeah.
Can you not go direct to the last waypoint before
I
the
was
ILS?
just doing that. I was trying to do that, and it's looping around, and it's got it.
Well, just fly it yourself.
Yeah, I'm going to have to here in a second.
Or ask them for vectors. Request airport direction. They'll give you a heading to fly to. Looks like you want to fly about. I can't quite make it out. Is that 4 or 5, somewhere around there?
All right. You know what?
So east, obviously.
Approach.
Maybe
That's all off.
You're coming. Just follow the purple line.
Yep. We have flaps. We have flaps.
How far out?
We have flaps coming down. We're going to have landing lights.
Hit our heavy land. Yeah, I did.
Yep. Yeah. You pitched up too much here.
Flaps come up. Obviously.
Yeah. Somewhere right down here.
This is
an
where
airport.
I fly the plane.
And I'm trying to find real quickly an airport in the middle of. It's to my left. Wait a minute. Do this the right way. Finish the loop to the right. Range in, please. And then get rid of this. And I'm going to be sideways here. Hope none of you get sick. Now, loop this thing back this way and line up.
It's a fairly aggressive turn.
Yeah, I know.
It's not, though. It looks it, but it's really not.
It's probably right at the end of the 40.
40 degrees that you can roll it over.
Yeah.
Well, to tell you on your HSI anyway.
Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that, guys.
That's all right. I'm just getting
Wait
ready
for
to
Moondog
loop
to
the
find
loops.
you.
So, anybody watching my stream, sorry that there wasn't much talking about flying, but that's how all of our streams go.
What we do.
As a matter of fact, I remember a Farm Sim episode, live stream, where we got philosophical. And started talking about weird stuff.
Us?
Yeah.
Philosophical?
Yeah, we actually got philosophical. It didn't last long, but we did.
Why am I climbing so much to get down? Thank you. How did I do that? I rolled all the way past the airport again. Fog, low level clouds. I want to be hitting 5. Come on, I know this. Air traffic control is just going, okay, we've got this plane at the beginning of approach, it's looping around. We can't land anything else because it's in the way.
It's an American CIA plane. Shoot it down.
Over
Imagine
Cairo,
Zig. What do you think Zig is like saying to his wife right now? I just listened to these guys. I don't know what the hell they were talking about. All I know is my brain hurts and I'm going to dream about Klingons and people named DeForest all night. Oh,
Well, it's a good thing we didn't start talking about MASH.
MASH.
I know.
Yeah.
All you have to do is tell me the title of the show. I can tell you everything. The title of the episode. I can tell you everything about it.
I don't remember the titles, but I definitely remember every episode. That is my absolute favorite TV show of all time.
And McLean Stevenson I thought was funnier than Henry Morgan, but I think that's
Yeah.
because Alan Alda took over a lot of the creative stuff,
Well, because
and it got kind of preachy.
all right, because I don't want to get into this, but I'm only going to say this: McLean Stevenson was designed to be funny. He was designed to be a civilian playing a colonel, right? Whereas Harry Morgan was a lifetime Army officer. They couldn't make him a joke, so they made everybody else a joke. Oh, the best thing they ever did in MASH, and I'm not getting into this clearly, but the best thing they ever did in MASH was get rid of Frank fucking Burns and bring in David Ogden.
Fair face, yeah.
God, I hate Frank Burns. I hated it.
Larry Linville had some good moments.
No, he was just a doofus, and I couldn't stand him. I get the whole point, of his existence. Like, I understand why he was in the show.
He was a whole lot better on the show, as the character was a whole lot better on the show than the original MASH, though.
Oh, in the movie, the movie was just brutal. The movie was like that movie make it cringe sometimes. Ooh, I can't believe they did that. You know what I mean? That movie was rough. Hawkeye was nothing like he is in the TV show.
What's funny though, and a lot of people don't realize, there was only one character from the movie that was also in the series.
Spirit Chucker.
Nope.
Yeah.
Nope. Gary Berghoff.
Right. Yeah.
No, but Spirit Chucker was in the movie too.
But not the character, but not the person.
Yeah.
Wasn't the black guy? Wasn't Spirit Chucker the same black guy? He wasn't. No.
Nope. Ooh. Gary Berghoff was the only one who was in the movie and also in the series.
Okay, I hand my MASH crown to you now, Draco, because I could have sworn that they were the same person. Well, there you go.
No.
Again, I don't want to get into this. Are they having a? Is it a dust storm down in Cairo?
I don't know. It must be.
It's very dusty down there.
I had clear weather for me.
Did you find this runway yet?
Yeah, I'm headed towards it.
Very good.
It's where the Airbus just took off.
Yeah.
That's
okay.
cool.
I'm quite literally. I'm cloudy.
He's not visual at all. You gotta get him.
Yeah.
You're never gonna. You're not visual. You don't even have the runway yet. I can't even see.
Right. All I know is I'm following the pink line on the GPS and going, yeah, it's about right.
Yep.
Well, if you want me to help you, I can tell you you're off to the left of the runway.
Left a little bit.
Quite a bit. Actually, quite a bit.
This is where you need. This is where you need published approach procedure, so you know what height you should be at by what mileage from the airport. Because my guess is, what are you at?
17.
High drop. What's your zoom the damn screen out. Oh, I can't scroll down. Fuck. Okay.
You can't.
I'm trying to hit my chase plane buttons to try to get a better view of the friggin'.
I see a happy light, I think, off to the side there. I'm not doing too bad.
I can't see your glide slope. I can't see where your glide slope is.
Yeah, you'll just have to straighten it out here in a couple minutes.
Yeah.
Okay, again, this is where I shut up and let you land the phone.
Yeah, because what I've been doing for the last 2 weeks is wreck everything I've gotten into. So now that I'm streaming, it should be slightly better. Are you going to tell me I'm already past? I'm past the. This is the airport. Where's the freaking pathway?
You're going to want to kick it to your left now.
Are you okay? There's an east and a west, and that's the west.
Because I can see it.
All right.
Is that a plane on a taxiway down there, or
it could be
somebody taking off?
All right, that's it. All right, got it. Right over that building.
Yep, you're going to go over this cluster of buildings, and then there's.
Yeah, I got it.
Well, I tell you, this visibility is not good. I've landed many times in this kind of weather. It isn't fun. When you're not visual till you're actually on the run.
Yeah. I'm a little high, but
I would say 1,000 feet probably, because you got a pretty tall.
Yeah.
You're gonna clear everything.
Oh yeah. Oh, he's gonna clear it. Sure. What's the runway elevation?
I don't know. I'm at 5. It said 500 just a second ago, so.
It's Cairo. It's got to be close to sea level. Well, it's a couple hundred feet up, I guess. Yeah, you got it. You got it. There you go. Now you're visual. Finally. Isn't that terrifying? Where the fuck is the runway? Oh, there it is.
All right, I taxied to parking.
you're too close to worry about the pappies now. Anyway, so
Yeah, I'm not.
oh, you're right on the slope though.
And
Right on
Moondog should touch down.
A couple
Now.
minutes. He's no.
Yeah,
He's not quite at the
Bounce. There he
threshold
goes.
yet. Oh, you've already. I forget I'm watching a stream. Yes, you've already landed. Never mind. I'm still enjoying it.
Well, enjoy it. I think it was pretty darn good. I've got all these jets lined up, ready to take off, so I'm going to need to get off of here pretty quick. Yes, acknowledge ground. Yes, all right.
Very nice. Very nice. A little off the center, but okay.
I hit concrete or asphalt, so.
You landed better than I did. I kind of dribbled my plane down the runway quite a bit.
Did you dribble it again? Well.
Oh, look! There's a big bird over there, taxiing down.
Well,
She's parked. No, she's parked.
Yeah, I landed a lot faster than what I should have, and just it bounced quite a bit.
You were not cleared to land. Clear the runway. Yeah, that's a thing. Select another runway for landing. I'm already canceling. Good way to listen to the ATC, but
Well, it said runway 5 left. I
left.
hit the right one.
because you had another. Well, you had another plane that probably.
I was
ATC.
probably they were probably said I needed to go around because of traffic and stuff, and I
ATC.
landed anyways.
So they didn't give you a
No, they terminated his ATC
Alright.
because he didn't follow instructions.
turn to your left, Moondog, and follow that taxiway all the way down.
Yeah, no, they've got me a taxi. I was just.
Well, that was fun. Good job, Moondog. You know what? I wouldn't worry about default ATC, but someday you guys got to try to fly on VATSIM. It's terrifying sometimes, but it's a lot of fun. And the only thing is you will have to listen to them.
VATSIM's free, right?
VATSIM is absolutely free. Yep, absolutely free. So, and you get VATSpy, and you can find out where ATC is around the world, and you can pick flights based on that. You know, if you want to have ATC, if you don't, then you don't. And model matching works fantastic, and it's all you download all the different models for all the different planes, and it installs in the sim, and it's all free. And so you just have to learn how to talk. But there's a million tutorials out there, and I can help.
Moondog, did your game just crash or join FS drop out or something?
No.
Because I was watching you, then all of a sudden, boop, gone.
Oh, they did give
shit.
you park. They did give you parking,
Yeah.
even though they were mad at you.
Yeah. Well, they also wanted me off the runway too.
Right. Yeah. So they could get that. So they could get that heavy that's up there.
Yeah.
World travel 7625 is 14 miles southwest inbound ILS runway 5 left. Except that in the real world you would be giving an altitude there. It's going probably at speed.
Probably. Yeah. So let's see. Are you actually still down here? Did you lose connection there?
That's a possibility. It says I'm still
Possible.
connected.
I just realized that I can see your time on your taskbar, and I'm like, is it really that time? It really is. I gotta go, man.
Yeah.
It's 1:30 in the morning. Damn.
Yeah, because I have it on display capture because that's the only way.
Oh, it
Because
looks
I have
really good.
multiple windows. Yeah.
So I'm going to go ahead and end my stream here because I don't know if I dropped out or if Moondog dropped out. So
And I'm
thank
just
you.
gonna.
Thank you all
Go
very
ahead.
much for sticking around and watching the flight and listening to a bunch of useless chatter about Star Trek for an hour. Once
Nothing
again,
useless about Star Trek.
true. Thank you, special thanks to ZigZagy for hanging out, even though he couldn't fly with us today. Hopefully, we'll have everything going
for
good for
Saturday.
Saturday. Mr.MoonDog, once again, always fun flying with you. BP, thank you very much for popping in and hanging out with us, man. It's always fun hanging out with you.
Anytime I can come and hijack a stream, you know that. So
And
thank you for letting me hang out.
And as always, thank you guys for sticking around. Make sure you like and subscribe. Also, check out everybody in the Monkey Show crew. They're all a bunch of great guys, especially Mr.MoonDog, ZigZagy, the Bipolar Prophet, Farmer Dad, Cavalier Roy, Stubby. Make sure you stop in, check them out. If you like what you see, make sure you give them a subscribe and like their videos. And we will see you guys on Saturday.
Saturday.
Yeah,
Saturday
Saturday.
night is when we're flying.
Yep, Saturday. I think 9 o'clock Central, 10 o'clock Eastern.
That's the plan.
That's
Hey,
the
And
if
plan.
what
you
we're
want-
going to do between now and then is we're going to try and hijack this guy that's been talking into flying a plane with us, maybe.
I will. And if you want something earlier on Saturday, remember the Monkey Show Live on YouTube and Twitch, where we play ETS2 and have a good laugh the whole time. So that'll give you something to do between 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and whenever these guys go live
And
Saturday
It's
night.
2 and 10, which, yeah,
and
plug
also
yourself there. That's cool.
Also, you make sure you check out Farm Sim on Sundays with the Monkey Show.
Yes, always a good time.
And if Farm Sim's your thing, make sure you also sign up for the Monkey Show Olympics. Get it and have a chance to win something pretty cool from the Monkey Show.
There you go. I think we've covered everything. Watch Star Trek.
Yeah,
and
I
watch
don't
Star
think
Trek.
you guys have left me anything to say. I think I'm just going to hang it up and go, hey, they said it all. What more to do? I'm just going to park it here and go, we're done.
And watch Star Trek. A lot of good life lessons there, kids.
Right. And you
Actually-
can join in on the next conversation we have. Oh,
You might have, a clue as to what the heck we're talking about.
okay.
Although the next one might be Star Wars, or it could be
I don't know Star Wars
Middle
as
Earth.
well as Lord of the Rings. I know
See,
pretty well.
I don't know Lord
Middle
of the
Earth.
Rings.
Yeah.
Well, see, you'll be able to learn something, Drake.
So
You're not Lord of the Rings, best books ever written.
never read a book, never read one of those books, never watched
Oh.
one of the videos. So
Okay.
All right.
Okay, I can't be friends with you anymore.
but
I'm assuming BP has even watched the Hobbits, the death, the Smogs, and all that stuff.
Oh, of course I have. Of course I have. Read all the books.
Okay.
Why wouldn't I watch the movies? Peter Jackson's a fucking genius. I think Tolkien would have approved. Oh, did a fantastic job.
So once again, thank you everybody for stopping in and checking us out, and everybody who would watch this in the future. And we will see you on Saturday.
Bye, everybody. Thanks.
Bye.
Subscribe to Bipolar Prophet on YouTube.